Hello and welcome back to the Insomniac Swoop. I am your host, Jedi Bill. How you doing out there? I see we got the Padawannabe in the house. Appreciate you being here, my friend. My friend. What's going on? What's going on? Hey, how are you doing, man? So, yeah, so this is the return of the Insomniac. I am the Insomniac, titled, and yes, Hollwierd is Hollywood. However, what you choose to call it, it's well, you know what's going on with that. The writers are on strike now. The actors are on strike, so it, it could be a long while before we get. Well, I can't even complete my sentence because well, um, it could be a very extremely long time before we get any good quality content from that place. I mean, you do have Tom Cruises and others who put out the occasional action film and no wokeness, no hit, give the fans what they want, you know. Uh, Hail, Dave C. Good to see you. How are you doing? Uh, so I was watching some YouTube just before coming here, and saw the corner he did that had did something about mentioned something about a trend going on with TikTok, and I was trying to have lined up for you uh, an example of what this NPC craze going on TikTok. It's mostly young females, extremely young. Like they've only been in the uh, maybe 18 to 20 years, but I don't know. Um, and anyway, I was gonna set it up, and the TikTok froze on me. It's like, oh god, I didn't like it froze everything. It froze my whole computer, and it's like, oh shit, oh shit, I can't do anything. Damn you, TikTok. TikTok's an evil place. They want to take over everything. I don't know. Does China run the entirety of TikTok? I'm sure they have offices here in the states and Silicon Valley. Yeah, that place where the YouTube and all those big uh, starter ups hail from. Tell me, have you seen the NPC? What the NPC craze is these e-girls on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm sorry, TikTok. They inspired from Japanese anime, and to get paid. Yeah, they require um individuals to buy coins to give them stickers and whatnot, and I'm sure they get percentage. But it's like, what the heck's going on here? And Coderine put out a video today that was quite interesting. He's like, I was the only one who noticed this weird thing. Is like, wow, these girls, yeah, they put in these little pointy elf ears and whatnot, and hey, Real Walden Gaming Clips, how are you? Padawan, he says the TikTok is bad. Basically, remote allowance of all devices onto your Wi-Fi. Oh, well, yeah, I found out the hard way tonight. It's like it froze everything. It's like, oh shit, I'm not gonna go live. I'm not gonna be able to go live. Then I finally was able to close it out, and it's like, get me back. I was like, Give me back control of my PC, you son of a bitch. What are you guys' thoughts on the whole Hollwierd, or have you seen? Have you guys watch TikTok or pay any attention to? I do good because I used to do some TikToks. I haven't done any in a long while. It's just amusing uh, sometimes, but it's pretty much all the same stuff over there. And there's these TikTok trends that go on. Like there's a lot of divorcees and like 42 and 43, 37. It was like they're always crying and like they say they can't get a man. It's like, but you're great. You're beautiful. Why can't I don't understand? I don't understand these trends. I don't. I wish TikTok is definitely a strange place. Yeah. I have thought you have watched several podcasts on TikTok. Oh, tweak their TikTok. Yeah. It's amazing what you can find live on there. Uh, well, I guess that's any for any platform. I mean, you got Facebook Live and uh, what there's Rumble, Odyssey. I'm actually thinking of starting up a Rumble. I could be streaming to Twitch, but I heard so many people are done with Twitch. I mean, Twitch, I guess still the main thing is gaming over there, but you know. Anyway, I guess I'll open up the lines, and you guys want to come in here, up here, and discuss things. You may do so. Right. Now I just got to deal with. Now this is another annoying thing that YouTube's done. That little heart, all those emojis in the corner, make it difficult to. Oh no, I don't want it now. No, I don't want it. There we go. That's what I want to do. Pin the message. Pin the message. Uh, you would do Rumble, but you already made an account. Okay. Yeah, very good. Oh, yeah. This is the triumphant return of the soup. I've been away for 2 months. I haven't done one of the. I just looking in and like I have not done a soup in 2 whole months. So this is the triumphant return. Oh, probably I'm gonna try to do this 3 maybe 4 times a week during the nights. Lord knows I pretty much up all night. So, mm. I don't even. I haven't really looked at Wormble. I guess I should, huh? I should investigate. Uh, let's see. I was gonna. Let's look at the mirror. See what's going on in the world. No, not that. Wow, that didn't work. I was looking for something there on. No. What's the? Let's do check the numbers. Oh, yes, type. All right. Now I can show you the numbers. See what the box office is at. Oh, let's see. Can I make that bigger? I don't know if you guys could read that. Uh, I can read it on my other screen, but like off of here, it's hard to. You see that 68% week one Mission Possible and the number one Sound of Freedom. Uh, Number two, Hello Canadian Spider Man. Yeah, thank you for that. This came out on July 4th. It's had a 40% drop in its second week, but still kicking ass and taking names. Look at that. Poor indie. Look at. It's weird that the bombs are still in the fourth and fifth spot. You got Indiana Jones and Elemental, and then Spider Wasp, but it's been out for 6 weeks, holding strong at the number six. What a dismal summer! look at the Little Mermaid down there at lonely number 10. Kind of want to see this one, that Asteroid City. Flash falling down to 13. Hey, well, Boogeyman.
Dang, sorry. That was a lot of noise.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Have did you see the video, the short of the parents they videotaped? It was their daughter. Well, I'm assuming it was their daughter, but it was a young colored girl. I assume black, but she could be various things. And they show her it's either the trailer or a spot for the Little Mermaid, and it's the part where she's singing the God, what is the song? Not Under the Sea, but the one in the beginning when she's saying she has all the stuff and she wants to be up under the sun. Why can't I be part of your world? That's it. In that song, and they pause it, and the girl turns around and she's like, "That's not what Ariel looks like." She's like, she's not black, she's white. And her hair's not in braids, it's long and flowing. That's not what she looks like. And it's just, I'll let you hear the parents laughing in the background. It's just super funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But yeah, I can say I think it's the just because I mentioned the remake thing. I think it's almost like I don't know who made those other couple remakes. Like they did, is it Snow White? They did it a couple times. They did Mirror Mirror, and they did The Huntsman, and it was like, was Disney trying to compete with that? With other remake, you know what I mean? Because there was
Yeah.
kind of a few other ones like that. I remember they tried to kind of spawn that group Hansel and Gretel, and the what was the one with Matt Damon where they were hunters, like of mythical creatures. There was like a scam, and then it was God, I don't know why I can't remember that. What was the Hans Christian Andersen? It was kind of based on that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But they tried to do this before, you know, they tried to spawn this before, and it didn't really take off. But there was other things that I think the public went after. There were so many movies in that era, you know, so many different ideas and stuff, and now there's just a lot less. I think I can't say it's a good thing because it's going to hurt a lot of people, but maybe we need a reset so
Yeah.
so movies become an event again. Cuz I don't know if I can see movies going away, like the theater experience going
Yeah.
all the way away. I don't.
Well, they better start bringing back classic movies because
Well, and now it becomes the thing, can they make enough movies to keep the theaters in business? Cuz that's the problem now. You're
yeah,
hearing the last few movies from a particular company with a capital letter at the beginning. They,
right.
I've been hearing people do their reviews and things, and they're like, I'm there opening day or within the first few days, and there's only a handful of people in their theater. And it's like, I don't experience that with big movies. I don't remember experiencing that ever. Like, that's what you
Hmm.
would experience going to the discount theaters, like right before it would come out on videotape. Like those days, you'd go in and be like 10 people. And it's like, okay, well, this movie's been running for 2.5 months.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
yeah, it's a different experience now. I mean, I've always been, I'm not going to spend that kind of money if it's not a movie I want to see on the big screen. And there just really aren't a whole lot that I'm. Granted, home theaters have come a very long way, but I'm somebody like I would go see a 3D movie if I thought it was really going to be worth it. Because
hmm,
Avatar, the new Avatar, I really wanted to see it in 3D, and when I did see it, I'm kind of glad I didn't spend all that money. You know, I mean, it's decent. I would say it's on the upper side of what we've been getting over the years. But I don't. I really got a. It could be the thing that the ideas were kind of done over already because Avatar, you get introduced to it and you get more excited, and then the
yeah,
second one would come out and it would be a lot less exciting because you're already used to what they look like and the things that they're gonna do. I just got a different feeling from the second one than the first. I can definitely say that.
What's up,
And
Philip Gaming?
and
Good
I
to see you.
I did get a chance. I have seen Maverick, and it was great. I would watch that movie many times over. I
Maverick,
showed
but
it
you
to my
didn't see, you
wife.
haven't seen the new Mission Impossible movie, have you?
No, not yet. Right now we don't have the ability to go to the theater, but that's one that I would have saw in the theater,
Yeah,
and I still could, because
yeah,
the way my job works, I could things could change overnight or within a day, and it's like, oh well, let's go see this movie this weekend. So it's still possible that I could see it, and I do want to see it. And because it's coming out, I've been watching some of the old ones. I only have the first three, and so this is six, the new one,
seven, maybe.
seven. Okay, so there's
Yeah,
three others. I've seen them all, but because I don't own them, that limits the amount that I'll see them over. Like those first three, I've seen dozens of times. I really enjoy the Mission Impossible movies, which puts
yeah,
me in a personal conundrum because of all the interviews I've seen of Tom Cruise, he's a little weird. Like, I wouldn't really be a fan if his movies weren't as good as they were. He just keeps putting out movies that I really, really like. You know,
Yeah.
they're entertaining all the way through. What I just watched recently, I just watched Mission Impossible 3 a couple weeks ago, and I was really amazed when you watch the movie from beginning to end and you kind of put the events together in a timeline. It's like, wow, this movie happens so fast. You know, like from the time, like real time, the movie only takes place within a few days, and they don't even show you about 35 hours of those few days. Because there's a countdown that happens, and it's like you have 48 hours, and then all of a sudden you kind of, the stuff happens, and you come back to them. They're like, we got 2 hours left. And it's like, okay, so we just missed. They've been trying to figure it out over the last day and a half.
Right.
But it's still entertaining. And I guess 2 is probably what I understand is probably the least favorite of those first 3. I don't know what your opinion is on those movies, because I really like the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh yeah, I've enjoyed them all. And hello, Raquel.
And it also doesn't hurt that the actors that they kind of picked up throughout the series, I was fans of the, like, I really liked Ving Rhames, especially coming off the Pulp Fiction thing, and it's like, oh, they got him in Mission Impossible now. And then they kind of keep him as a reoccurring character. And I really liked, is it Simon Pegg, or is that the other guy I get confused with?
Yeah, Simon
Pegg. I love his movies. The
Yeah.
ones that he does with his normal partner, I can't remember
Yeah.
the name at the moment. But Nick Frost, like those
Yeah.
movies are superb. I love all those movies.
Shaun of the Dead,
Yeah, I
Hot
love
Fuzz,
Hot Fuzz.
and
Yeah.
what's the
Shaun
one
of
with
Hot
the
Fuzz?
the one? I have all of them.
Well, they did that Alien movie, but there
Yeah.
was one before, that too. Yeah, there was those 3 movies that they did kind of back to back to back that were just so good. I still enjoy those movies. Those movies are like in my normal rotation. I've had Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz for years. I just love those movies. So funny.
Yeah, the classics.
I just find it so hilarious because it's so. I mean, they even say it in the like behind the scenes and in interviews and stuff that they were trying to emulate kind of the big budget action movies like Bad Boys and things like that, and they have that big chase scene, the cars chasing each other and they're shooting guns at each other, and they do this wide view, and I'm like, they're like 20 feet apart. You know, I mean, just their cinematography is even funny, the way they set everything up. It's so good. See, that was I think that might be the way things may rebuild, is through independent film. I don't know.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the Super Mario Brothers movies.
Oh, and
And
it's
I know
very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna purchase it on Blu-ray because you get like a Blu-ray
Digital copy and all
digital
that.
copy,
Blu-ray,
yeah.
DVD, digital copy.
Yeah,
Yep, that's always nice. I like getting those packages like
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
The digital copies, I have probably 24 movies on there, and they're just totally random. But it's like, it's
Yeah.
really cool when you have you're like, wow, I really haven't watched that one in a while.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like those multi-packs myself. I was always a fan of those.
They really because there's you think the super now the standard is the animated Super Mario Brothers, I still think about that one that Bob Hopkins did with
Okay.
John Lipzigamo.
Okay. Then what? Now, that's well, I won't, it's not a spoil, but they didn't have those two voices in the movie. And
Hmm.
I kind of thought they might. But if you remember any Mario stuff in your whole life, like any old cartoons or old games, like if you remember the original Super Mario or 2 or 3 or 4 or World or whichever ones they are,
Yeah,
there are many references to almost all of these things. They even reference the stuff before he was known as Mario, which is fantastic. This movie to me was like what when the Lego movie came out. I'm a huge Lego fan my whole life and growing up with it. So when that came out, it just the little Lego reference jokes they made cracked me up. And they weren't shoving it in. It's like, this is how Lego works. This is how it is. So some of the jokes came real natural. So watching the Mario movie, all the stuff that naturally happens in Mario, some of it just happening in 3D was very funny. Because there's the scene when they go into super speed and they actually put their arms out and their hands back, and that made me giggle. Just those little references like that. I was like, oh, they did the hands. It was just there's so much in that movie, and nothing goes out of its way. It's just all there. It's up to you to notice everything. And my wife, we watched it together, and she's only played a few games, but she knows Mario, and she laughed out loud at several parts of the movie and references because she would just laugh for no reason. Like I'm watching it and it's not a funny part or a joke, and she would just laugh because she was seeing some reference that she recognized, and it was just it's
yeah.
very good. We rented it. So if you're gonna buy it, then I saw this picture.
I, I just don't understand that. What is it with Disney destroying? I just don't get this. Why? Why did they do this?
I don't know. But at this point, if they're still trying to do this, go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it. The only the thing that was weird to me is when they show Snow White close up, her hair, whatever they put in it,
well,
almost
there you
makes it
go.
look like a hard wig. Like what was that weird live action show that looked like a cartoon? Somethingville. I can't remember, but her hair just it almost looks like a plastic thing they just sit on her head. But I think it's her actual hair. It just the style is gonna be something we are not used to at all.
Yeah,
And it just now I'm starting to wonder, it's been brought up because I've seen this brought up on many, very, very large podcasts. Not that we're not, but very, very well known celebrity type people. And they're like, so are dwarves not being like, are they not allowed to have their kind in the
yeah.
movie anymore?
Well,
Are
I guess
they, I mean, are there not Hispanic dwarfs and
it
black
looks
dwarfs?
something
And
like there's an outrage because Peter Dinklage opened his mouth about it's
oh,
like really.
I don't, the inclusivity
I don't.
here, I'm not sure I understand it. It seems like only race is important. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And shouldn't Doc be somebody that's a little impaired? I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I mean, is there not gonna be a silly, not as smart as all the others character? Because that would be degrading. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I mean, there maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't even have a doc. Maybe he's Doctor. Doctor dwarf. I don't. Maybe they're not called dwarves anymore. You know, I don't. I'm not. I just don't know because those other two renditions of Snow White were so different and so good.
The
But
Snow White and the Huntsman, is that?
yeah, yes, the I think that's the first one, Snow White and the
Yeah.
Huntsman,
Yeah.
where she becomes more of like a warrior. And then there's the
Uh,
Mirror Mirror one that starred I'm not gonna remember. She's in that Pretty Woman movie.
hmm.
I can't remember her name. I don't know why I can't remember her darn name. She's super popular. But she was in Mirror Mirror and she played the evil queen. And that was a great, it was kind of a comical rendition. It was kind of funny because they would have the dwarves come out and the dwarves had these stilt machines that they could walk around on and fight with. And I was like, that
Oh,
was a,
was that the Maleficent one?
oh
Eventually,
no,
totally,
that
eventually.
was a different. This one was Julia Roberts. That's her name. It's called
Oh,
Mirror Mirror.
oh yeah.
I can't remember the girl that plays Snow White, but she was actually a younger actress coming up at the time. All she's pretty well known. But that one's actually really good also, and that was a very different, kind of twist. It was closer than the Huntsman to what the animated one was,
Hmm.
but it was still very different. Like when I thought it was really cool because when the queen would talk to the mirror, she would actually walk into the mirror
Yeah.
into like this little hut room, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But
Uh huh.
they just it was definitely had a comic twist to it, whereas the Huntsman did not. That was very serious. That was like what they did with Batman with Nolan, how they like tried to make Snow White as realistic as they could.
Right.
With the armor and all this stuff. So I thought that one was pretty. I liked them both, but this one it just seems like their old formula. Like let's just twist what we made before, you know. But it's weird because they're twisting their version. Like we can't even say, oh well, they're going more toward the original content they pulled it from, because they're not doing that. They're literally just twisting what their animated version was. However they can do it. Because I heard some stuff about Little Mermaid from several things, and one of the moms was like, I took my kids to go see this, and she was like, it was very obvious that there was a lot of stuff like shoehorned into it.
Yeah. I'm
Because
hearing this. I'm hearing this new Barbie film. Like, we get it this. I guess it comes out Friday.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it's
Yeah, I'm not
supposed to be
sure.
super feminist. Like
Well, I mean, it's
it's all
Barbie.
about hitting
I
men.
mean,
It's like
well, I mean, isn't that kind of the joke though? That they only ever had Ken, but there was
yeah.
all these Barbie, and because I watched the trailer and I'm like, where'd all these other guys come from?
I haven't even watched trailers. Like,
So, but how I would look at it, I didn't collect them. I didn't even really know any girls that did collect Barbie. They collected some of the other things, but I get what it is. I do understand the hype that it created, and it wasn't just the dolls, but the doll house and the vehicles and all this stuff. This was like the first kind of action figure stuff for girls with all the accessories. They came out with the big bust of Barbie, and you could do her hair, give her earrings, and all this stuff. So it's a very cultural phenomenon when it comes to Barbie. And I've been watching all the promo stuff that What's the actress that's doing it? Who's playing Barbie? Do you remember?
Marco Robbie.
Margot Robbie, yeah. She's been actually dressing up in like vintage Barbie outfits, like what the dolls were released in their outfits. She's been like having these dresses made. And it's like, it looks great. And I'm like, wow, she actually does kind of look like Barbie. And I would like this movie to be like for them what the Lego movie was for me. But yeah, the last few days, I'm not sure that's what it is. So I just don't know. They could just be doing that again. Because
Yeah.
there's been a couple things that came out, and right before it comes out, some bad press comes up about it, and then you watch it and you're like, well, I don't know what they were talking about, you know? So it just, it will, you really just have to wait. Because there's new things happening before movies are being released now because the YouTube ish media is so widespread now. It's not just YouTube. It's like
Hmm.
you were saying, all these other channel or all these other media channels, I guess you
Yeah.
would call them.
Odyssey, Rumble.
I mean, there's
What?
so many that ones are going under we don't even know about because they're not
Yeah.
being used enough.
Yeah. I think
So
Odyssey was supposed to be a hot thing, but then it just put it out.
it really just depends on what picks up, you know.
Yeah.
Like MySpace was this thing and it's Facebook, and when you
Oh,
really get you
yeah.
really get down to it, it's like there's not much
I
difference
I
between the
remember what
two.
back in it was like what 2005, 2006 in the early years, right around when all this stuff was just getting started. You know.
Oh, well, I remember finding out from my cousin leaked footage about the Clone Wars animated show about Darth Maul coming back. And like we were just able to get online. Like it was still, it took forever, not forever. We were past, I think we were in the You Got Mail stage at that point. So it wasn't fast, but it wasn't as slow as it was. So we'd look this stuff up, and I'm like, no kidding. But there wasn't as many pictures as there are now. Like everything has photos now. Most everything before was just reading threads. You just read and read, and there might be a photo here and there, but it wasn't like it is now where there's photos on everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah I just, and that was back then, and it took a long time to get that word of mouth because there wasn't an online community yet. And now it's like there's such a big online community that it can almost waver people, whether the movie's that way or not. Like if people say the movie's bad and it's actually really good, you
Hmm.
know, or if, like, I was kind of hearing things about Indiana Jones before it came out that it might not actually be, it might be really be worth going to check out. And so I was kind of getting excited again. And then I started hearing from some of the people that I watch that I talk to more. And it's like, gosh darn it,
Yeah. I just
another rental, you know? So,
not even worth it. It really, to be honest, it's not worth anybody's time,
but
especially if you're an indie fan. I mean,
the
there's
initial problem is there was not enough hype. And I can't say they built it up. They didn't build it up enough. But there was not enough hype within the movie for me to go, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. As a fan, I wasn't like, I can't wait for this to come out. And that's how
oh
those
my
movies
god,
were. I mean, when we got the third one, we didn't even really know it was coming out. And then it was kind, and it's like, what they're doing, and they got Sean Connery. What, I mean, that's how you felt seeing that stuff. You
Daniel
know,
liked the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I know some
Well,
people
you're
that really did like it, but I just haven't seen it yet. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I thought there was gonna
I
be a larger positive response. That's all.
I just I no, I'm totally against. I'm anti This film should have not been made. It is an abomination in my mind. It was lousy.
But see, you actually went and you saw it, and so you can't. But
Actually,
it's.
I didn't. I saw it.
Oh, I thought you did go see it.
No, I didn't go to see it. I saw it by other ways.
Oh,
Welcome, Danielle.
because I thought you saw it early too. I
It,
thought.
it was a good
Well,
movie. Well, you didn't like it?
No, I hated it.
What was wrong with it?
Everything.
But you have to look at it from our angle. Like they built it up so big for so good and so good for so long. So we're kind of looking at it like it absolutely does need to meet what we think of the other movies for it to be better. As a fan myself, this movie I'd have to watch it and go, oh my God, this is no question, is this at least as good or better than the other three.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different, being older, we've kind of seen how the movies adapt and we got excited for different things. So we just, I can definitely say nostalgia comes into things, and I have heard about the CGI. I haven't watched it, and that's why I'll just wait till I can see it a little less expensively, and I'll watch it, and then I won't feel bad about the money I spent.
For me,
it,
the CGI was horrible.
But that tends to be, it seems to be a trend in newer movies right now. I haven't heard very many movies that have said, oh, the CGI really lives up to an expectation. Now, Oppenheimer is obviously going to have some CGI in it, so we'll see.
What about Mads Mikkelsen as the villain? Did you like him as the villain?
I think that's for Jedi Bill. It went quiet. Jedi Bill's microphone must not be working right. I'm all alone. Oh, I hear noise again. Oh no!
Mads Mikkelsen.
So he's the big bad in Indy?
Yeah.
I've seen all the stuff. Mostly what I've been hearing about him is because of Ahsoka, so I could easily have forgotten he was in Mads Mikkelsen. But I will have to say, him as an actor, when he's in something, it makes me perk up and go, oh, I kind of might want to look into that, like into what they're doing, or just go watch it. Because there are some actors that I will watch their movie regardless. Whether more my funding rather than my want on how soon I get to watch these movies. But, I like Mads Mikkelsen a lot. And I'll see this movie. I'll just have to wait a little bit. Last movie I saw in the theater was The Machine. And that was several months ago. And the one we saw before
The Machine. I like that guy, the comedian. He's the
Burt Kreischer.
Yeah.
That movie actually was very good. It was not what I thought he was going to put together as a comedian. It was a level higher than I was expecting it to be. It was like a real film. Knowing the story and knowing that comedian and how it was, like, wow, he looked serious in this movie. So I went and saw that just because I wanted to support what was going on with them. He's trying to bring up movies from a different perspective, and I like how his group does their podcasting and promotion of everybody and promotion of comedy and just trying to keep people working and stuff like that. So I went and saw that, and the one I saw before was the newest one that Jason Statham was in, but I can't remember what that was.
Yeah.
But that was just a few months ago too.
Here's my take on why, uh, like me, people my age can't stand Dial Destiny or Crystal Skull because now Dial Destiny does make Crystal Skull so much better in my eyes, but for me, I saw the first time I saw Indiana Jones: The Raiders of the Lost Ark was in 1981 when it came out in the theaters. I was 9 years old, so it's a character I grew up with, and what they did in this new film is totally decimate his character, and the new characters are so unlikable. Tony Banderas in it for a minute, you couldn't even recognize him.
Yeah, Zorro. Too bad Zorro was killed in this movie.
See, Daniel, you haven't been watching these films as long as I have. You were introduced much later.
Yeah, I started watching it in 2007 when they started filming Crystal Skull.
See, I have been watching it, the series, film franchise from the beginning. And when you're in my age group, taking it all the way back to when we were 9 years old, you know.
Well, that's what I was
To see
earlier,
a character assassination and all these unlikable characters, bad storytelling within the film. It's a shit show. It's convoluted. To me, it's utter garbage.
And that's what I was referencing before. Like when these movies came out and we saw them when they came out, almost all the stunts Raiders of the Lost Ark did were stuff we hadn't seen yet.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Even as crude as it is now, most of the stuff holds up. And then Temple of Doom comes out, and again, they are doing things they've never done before. And it's like Indiana Jones did look like he was on a cliff. And they did like some claymation, still motion stuff with the carts and all that. It was, I mean, that's what I meant. Like when these movies were coming out, we weren't just like, wow, this movie's amazing. Like we were seeing things that hadn't been done yet. The people that were making these movies are still some of the leaders in the industry.
Oh, yeah.
But when we see CGI in an indie movie, and we saw it in the last one, when we saw Indiana Jones 3, it does hold up. It's like, oh my God, look at all these locations they're at. And look at all this practical stuff. And it really looks like they're down inside a tunnel somewhere or in a desert. Or really, the sets are just so immense. And so CGI will change that. Because when I was watching Indiana Jones 4 and they're driving through the jungle, it's all CGI. Where every other movie was practical.
Yeah.
Granted, there were inconsistencies. Oh, they're in the desert this scene. 5 seconds later, they got jungle all around them. Now they got a cliff next to them. But, but it was, for the most part, practical. And they did do some layover type stuff and things like that. But that's when, and then you get to the jungle in 4, and it's like, is there anything real in this part? And that's what took us out of it. Because we were so used to seeing it a certain way, and it's like, well, now Indy is very different, and I think it was a similar kind of thing with how people took Star Wars. Like, there's too much CGI, and that can ruin. Hey, we lost him.
Yeah, he said you had to go. He said no. He said he had to.
Oh, I see it.
Go to bed.
Okay, I see.
And no, Rhonda, you're welcome to join us too.
I didn't want him to feel like we were like hating on him or nothing. Because
no. You have to see it. He's got to see it from our perspective, and we got to see it from his. He said he just started watching in like 2007.
But he's probably more of a CGI. Like I think the watchers that have had CGI their whole like knowing of movies
Yeah.
look at it very differently. I mean,
Well,
you've seen Lawnmower Man, right?
yeah, of course.
We watched that. Was like, oh my god, this is amazing. That movie, the CGI in that movie is horrible.
I am a film buff. I have gone to the see films in the theater all the time because I go for the experience to see people laugh, to see people's reactions. That's why I go to film.
And
That's why I go to the theater.
I've been paying money to see movies the critics said were bad for years. I saw Johnny Mnemonic in the theater.
So did I. I saw Escape from LA in 96, 97.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
one out.
kind of atrocious and had some horrible CGI.
Yeah, I heard that one really got bashed back because that was the one where he surfs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So see, this isn't a new thing. There's just more of the movies people are noticing. It's not like bad movies weren't made. It's not like our heroes didn't get ruined. You know, if anybody remembers how Freddy Krueger was in the first two movies, and then they see him in 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, every movie is made more of a joke. Like, he's not as menacing. He always has one-liners after that. It's not a horror movie really anymore. You know, and that certain fans would change. You know, I don't like it as funny. It needs to say horror. This is something we've seen so many times already, just not on this scale. Not by the companies either. You know, like, these were the companies that would be like, no, we're going to shy away from that project. We're going to go with these other ones.
Yeah, and like, we saw the whole franchise of the indie franchise 1 through 3 in the theater at the times that they came out. You had 81, 85, and then 89 for The Last Crusade. You know, we saw them when they were new.
I think that's what the difference is.
You know,
because we saw them when they were, even though the stuff they used was crude by today's standards, 30, 40 years later.
Yeah.
It was literally, like, I can't, not record, but trend setting for the whole industry. They were doing stuff that wasn't even around. They're like, well, I guess we can try this. I don't know if it'll work. You know, but with most of it being practical, it made it look more real. But yes, I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark and I see those guys' face melts and I'm like, God, jeez. There are things that are bad, but that doesn't make me go, oh, this movie's horrible. It doesn't take me out of it because that's how the technology was. But with CGI being so good, and then they give us CGI that doesn't look almost photorealistic, unfortunately, we see it now. We saw Pirates of the Caribbean. It's got to look at least that real.
Yeah.
There's a minimum now. They set a standard. They need to go higher than it. Because I will say, in the clip that I saw of The Flash, those babies all look like rubber dolls.
Yeah.
You know, and I haven't even seen the movie. I just saw a clip and I was like, wow, it doesn't look real at all.
It looks like sci-fi channel CGI, Sharknado type,
old school cable quality.
You know.
What do you guys think about the old Godzilla?
I like it for what it is, but I think I mentioned this the other day. I said I like it for what it is, but I can't take it serious. Like when Godzilla does something good and he like jumps up and down.
Yeah,
like that's
what makes it classic, though.
Yeah, that's what makes it classic.
That's what makes it classic.
Right?
But because he does things like that, make me respect the new movies. I'm like, well, at least he looks like a big dinosaur now. You know, I mean, that's
Oh
how I look
yeah,
at it.
But
Whether the movie's good or not, regardless, I like old
I
Godzilla for
love
what it is.
the old King Kong from 1933 on up
really,
to the what 2005 remake and the
And
newer ones that they've been doing.
I have to say, I like the old one because as a kid growing up who liked dinosaurs, you didn't. They weren't as saturated in society as they are now. Dinosaurs were a lot harder to come by and see in things, and the
there's no
dinosaurs were in
dinosaur.
King Kong. So I love that old
Yeah.
King Kong because of
I
that.
also appreciate the 1970 what was it 1978 the one with Jessica Lange and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
yeah
But I like all the
it
King
was
Kongs.
good, but I
yeah
don't know. I like the old one because I'm old. No,
I
no,
like
but I
the
I
did
one
it
with
just had
With Charles Gordon Whitworth. Damn it! Now I gotta figure out what year that was. Yeah.
But did you guys ever see Mighty Joe Young? It's another gorilla movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really good. When he saved all them burning children there in that orphanage. Remember
I
that part?
watched before that. I remember that movie coming out and thinking, "Oh, this is like Baby."
Sorry,
Baby.
It was 76.
Mm.
The
Oh.
Jessica Lange, Jeff Bridges, Charles Gordon.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job actually, and it was a lot more
Oh, I have,
colorful.
and that one's color. Yes, I
I
have seen
just
those
said
old
that.
ones, but not very often.
Yeah,
See, you didn't have any CGI in there. You just had a man in a monkey suit, a very good monkey suit,
And then some still
believable.
motion here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But that
what? That was a monkey suit that King Kong was in.
The one from
sometimes
1976. Yeah.
No, the first one, right?
the first one is parts. I think the part when, because doesn't he kind of? They're all on the wall, and they see him come up and look at them all. And I
Yeah, like
don't.
a
I
mountain
think
or
that's
something.
an actual. I think that's a suit. I don't think that was
You
the
don't think that was a
model.
Well,
real
that's how they did
Well,
gorilla?
it
they
back in
used both though.
the day. Yeah.
They definitely use both because there's the
That and
scenes when
stop
he's fighting the
motion.
dinosaurs, and that's all stop motion, so that would all
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
a
I'm gonna have to
model.
watch it again because I don't know. It
It
always
would
looked like a real gorilla to me.
it would probably be for if a movie that old, it would probably anytime you see the most of King Kong, it would be
Uh,
fake. But anytime you see like
mm,
part of
the
him,
close up,
yeah, it
like
might be real. I mean, if it's like a hand reaching for the girl, that's obviously gonna be fake. But like
yeah, that's
they would
true.
superimpose those
You better
pictures,
got
and they're
paid a
like,
lot if it wasn't.
yeah, I like watching movies and looking for those that technical stuff. It's like, oh, that's how they did that.
God, I know everything's so different now. I mean, you watch the what's even the word? I don't even know the right word. You know where they everything looks like crystal clear, even though it's avatars. It
Oh, the
looks
new
almost
the definition.
yeah, it's almost like true to life where Betty Boop and all
Yeah,
that back in the day, they were
Hail
get
drawn.
Das Wuffen. Welcome, Das Wuffen.
yeah. I have a little bit of a mind screw when I watch. Like, if you watch films are a little different still, but if you watch like TV shows, TV series on high
Yeah,
definition, when they're
mm,
recorded with high definition cameras, it looks like old home footage. Like I can see the
really.
depth and everything in there. It's like
And
it's
that's what
too
year are you
clear.
talking? What year are you talking about?
Well, you have to watch if you watch new series that they film with like 4K cameras
Oh, compared
and then
to
you watch it on a 4K TV, it's like it's too clear. It looks like home movies. Like how you could it
then
just was a little too bright and everything was too defined. You know, it's like it doesn't look like a film anymore to me.
yeah, it's
Or it
like
looks like a phone camera or something.
to me when
Mm.
I think back about old TV, all I can see is like static and the vertical lines, the
Oh
antennas.
yeah.
And
I actually miss
stuff.
static because this digital skipping drives me crazy.
God,
Uh,
you didn't even need a
Hey,
remote
Fizz.
control.
yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
Fizz.
I don't think I've ever. I think I've seen you before, Rhonda.
What?
Hello.
Now, have you spoken to each other before?
I think I plugged the phone.
Rhonda and Fizz, have you? I don't think Rhonda has Rhonda been on with Fizz before.
No, no. She's run to. So you've just been coming on the
I'm trying to
our
plug my phone.
karaoke
karaoke,
streams. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't
I
come on those.
and
Yeah,
I haven't been on with Fizz before.
oh, I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep, and that's what the page said, like for Insomniac soup and stuff. So I was thinking I should go on there. Maybe
Yeah.
he's got the secret to
Uh,
sleeping. No.
no, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, do you have a really bad sleeping disorder? I do.
I just don't
But when do
usually
you
sleep
ever
at
sleep?
night.
I always see you all the time. Every time I look, you're always there. When do
Oh,
you ever sleep? Like today, I didn't know if this was the
I
boys'
sleep
club night.
occasionally.
oh, I'll be right back.
I get naps here and there.
Yeah, I know because you're always watching westerns or men. Oh God, I'm just gonna sound so stupid,
Yeah.
but I really like your karaoke. I like just you guys, the people that I've met so far. Over the phone and stuff. And then I found myself like when I seen that you were doing a western one night and something else another night, then you didn't show up for karaoke. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
he better get some rest because he can't cancel the karaoke anyway. If that makes any sense.
Right.
Is
Well,
every
I've been doing YouTube since 2020, early
Mm.
2020, and
how
Soup
old are
is
you?
Soup's been the show that I've been doing for a long time. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
I got a new channel by the way. It's called the Fish Chozo Corner. I delete the old one.
you got what?
A new channel. It's called the Fish Chozo Corner. I delete the old one.
Fish of what?
It's
Fish
Fizzozo
Fish
Corner.
Chozo.
Yeah,
Fish
It's on my
Chozo's corner. Okay.
the
Corner,
Fish
yes.
Chozo
I
Corner.
heard something else.
He had to delete his old channel.
Oh.
No,
I can't find my.
I leave my old channel when you got a new one. No, but I'll be re-uploading some of the old content.
That's
I'm
good.
curious about. Oh, we lost Rhonda.
Yeah.
I'm curious about old content. Like when YouTube says the content is reused and they're not letting you use it, what do they even mean? Like you're showing an old video or you're showing something somebody already covered, or what is that?
No, me old content, me my old live streams and stuff, and some of the old videos re-uploading them.
Oh, no, that I understand what you mean by what you say, but I've heard people get I don't know if it's a strike or whatever from YouTube, but they're saying they're reusing content. Has anybody heard of that? Because I've heard a few people
No,
get hit for that, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, are they maybe showing somebody else's video, or are they re-uploading a video a second time? Like, I didn't understand it.
I
But
don't
if you
know.
don't know, then you can't answer it. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
I don't know because I've never had to deal with any of that.
Oh, and what you were mentioning about when you brought up TikTok in the beginning, I watched, I don't know if you saw it, that Joe Rogan podcast when he went over the privacy clause for TikTok. I mean, it's pages and pages, but they read like half of it. And it basically says if anybody in your household like uses your Wi-Fi, so like my stepdaughter has TikTok on her phone. Because she has TikTok on her phone, TikTok can access any of our devices whether we have TikTok on it or not.
well,
They
I
do
don't
pretty
have
much with
TikTok on my
everything
phone
now.
for a reason.
But if anybody comes to your house and has it on your Wi-Fi, then it gets into your system.
Okay,
I
okay.
never
Nobody
had
else in the house. Nobody else in the house has TikTok either.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. If somebody walks in the house and uses your Wi-Fi, then it grants permission for everybody on that Wi-Fi now.
No way.
It's ridiculous. They were blown away. They read like half of this thing, but it was like 200 and something pages. And it was ridiculous how it can just access like
Yeah, it's
everything,
really crazy.
whether you have it or not. It's just like, oh, you're connected to something that does have access to it? Well, you have access now.
Well, it's, my sister got me one of them, like Google Assistant things. And I hate technology, but anyway, I had it when she first gave it to me. I really liked it because you could pick songs and everything. And then, I noticed when I was like, just laying in my living room on the couch or something, and I'd like say something, and then the assistant Google would like answer my question.
I have heard some
I'm like,
pretty
what the?
wild stories about these like Alexa and all these things because they're basically recording all the time, right? So I've heard people like they're just in their house and they'll hear another unit in another room will start playing back like a phone conversation they had or old recorded footage of just them and like maybe it mistakes something for Alexa and then starts recording. So it records that conversation and people have heard it being played back to them just randomly. So it's like, yeah, it's here. It hears everything. But
Yeah, that's spooky.
I've done the I don't know if you guys have done the experiments with your phone, but I'll just sit my phone down and turn the screen off and everything. And if you just I can just go, okay, I know I haven't talked about this particular thing. I go, I want to look this up, and I'll just say what it is just
Okay.
into the air. But then the next day I get ads. So it's definitely hearing you whether you want it
I
to or
know.
not.
We're in the
Yeah,
jet.
I don't have them in my house anyway. I never get
Okay.
one. I don't never will get one
Yeah.
of those.
Try and keep it out. It's tough. It's
Well,
pretty tough, man.
my Google Assistant should be sleeping because it's so boring here.
I haven't gotten any of that
That's
stuff
really,
just because
but
it's like, well, you
US
can
never
look it up.
did.
So I've learned to look stuff up pretty quick, and I remember most of the stuff. Like the movie Jedi Bill said, he's a movie freak, so I like movies
Yeah.
and music. So you hear or
So,
see something you like, you try to remember something. You're like, I'm gonna look that up.
I know. Should write it down if you have like a thought that you want to remember. That's what I'm doing.
What I do really like are those apps like Shazam, where you just put the speaker up to a song and it'll tell you what song it is.
Oh my God, really?
I do like that. That's pretty cool. So if you're just like in a store and you hear a song and you're like, oh, and you just hold the mic up, hope if it can pick up the song, it'll scan
That
the
is so
database and
crazy.
tell you what it is. So
So
I
I
want it
remember,
to do that for that stuff. I don't want it to do that stuff for my phrases.
I know, but I don't know how. I don't know. You sound younger than me, but I remember watching that cartoon, The Jetsons, and like I remember joking with my sisters, and we were really young, and I'm like, oh my God, imagine that if you'd have to put makeup on just to answer the phone.
No, I thought
And it
about
was the
I
card. And
just
now
as you
it's
were saying
here.
that.
It's here now. It's like, who knew about the Jetsons? Someone
Well, I
recently.
think that's what plastic surgery is. Like in the Jetsons, they would put on a mask that made them look like they had all their
Hmm.
makeup and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's plastic surgery. You just get up looking that way.
Yeah, 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 but you can't. But
I'm
you
still
can't.
waiting for my robot maid.
Mm.
I'm waiting for Scotty to do me a.
Well, I guess with AI here, it's close, right? They'll be able to make food and stuff. I mean,
I don't know. I don't
even
think I'll
Doc
be able
Brown had a machine that would feed his dog.
to. Really? God. Was he rich or just lazy?
No, that was in Back to the Future.
Oh,
He was
okay.
just
No.
gone. He was just gone, so he made that device that fed his dog when he wasn't there.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part.
Mm. They also had a lot of weird stuff like that in the Honey I Shrunk movies. Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
You guys remember the robot's name on the Jetsons?
No.
That's Rosie.
Yay! No, you
Why she
can't
sounded
see.
like she was like a Jewish person from New York, I don't know.
Why? Because she was monotone and didn't make no expression.
Mhm.
I don't know. I never thought of that question before.
I'm waiting for them to be able to make those hotels that can just boost you right out of the smog.
There's going to be a city in the sky and flying cars and everything.
That's what Fifth Element. I'm waiting.
Well, I'd like to, but I don't think I'm going to last that long.
I would love to have a Chinese restaurant just flat in my window.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if the enemy was after the Chinese delivery?
That's funny.
You know, it's crazy. Is Bill
Oh,
still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
he listens real
Well,
good. Oh,
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Jedi Bill, yes, make a rumble.
Well,
Make a rumble.
have you guys been kicking me
Really,
out
I'm
of the
serious.
room?
Hmm?
Or have
No,
I been kicking myself out because I keep getting kicked out?
sometimes it just drops. Are you on your phone? On your um?
Yeah, I'm on my
Phone.
Android phone, whatever the heck it is,
That's probably why.
with a little, and got the charger and that, and my
And it
Android
may
has
be storming outside my place tonight.
um,
Keep
like
on
an
getting keep on getting issues with my net, and my net's usually good.
my son sent me this picture, over instant messaging, and he's of this big hurricane that's supposed to be coming, and then it showed the island that he was on. It was the big island of Hawaii, and this hurricane. It looks like you could just go over that mountain because there's so much water in the Hawaii states. I can't believe they're in that, so much water. And, it's like, and they never get like totally flooded. Ain't that crazy? Or, hello, did I see? I put everybody to sleep.
No, you're talking.
Oh, I thought that was the cure to the insomnia. But, no, he's in Hawaii and he sent me this picture, Doppler or whatever, this great big old ass hurricane with the center of the eye. It looks like it's 20 times bigger than the island. But he said he's on the good side of the big mountain. It's the biggest mountain in the world if you go from sea depth. Anyway, he's on the right side where the mountain blocks a lot of it.
Hmm.
But I'm like, man, there's got to be something, I call it God, but looking out for. Because if you look at the little island, it looks like a little dot in the middle of great blue water that could just like easily make a wave and you know what
With
I'm
the
saying.
in Hawaii,
Yes, I mean that. If
at
I
least
flew
they're
over,
in something that protrudes out of the water. Whereas in
mm,
Florida, a lot of that area
um,
is at sea or below sea level, so it just
Florida,
washes in.
um,
Well, the Everglades, all that stuff, it would wash over a lot. Like in California, if there was ever a big wave,
uh,
once it gets past that first set of mountains after the coast, it's a lot of flatland.
it's the mountains. Is that where Hollywood is?
That yeah. Yeah, those mountains run up and then they run up through California and they become the Sierra Nevadas. That's where Lake Tahoe is. And then they
Yeah.
kind of keep running up north.
Well, what's that place now that used to be like so? I think we're supposed to be talking about movies, but it used to be so La Posh and high class, and now
Malibu.
it's like full of heroin addicts and stuff. It's
That's
no, it's
probably
not
Malibu. Most of Los
Kensington.
Angeles.
Kensington.
Huh.
It's Kensington. I don't know this, but it's right outside of Hollywood, I guess. Just like the White House, if you go outside of that, I guess there's a bunch of drug addicts right out at the fence and stuff too.
I haven't been to Los Angeles in years, but I'll tell you, after a video I saw today, have you seen how the young teenagers and 20 somethings are able to
Yeah,
just stop whole intersections for like
that, no,
an hour or two in LA, and they
for
just do
what?
like random car shows spontaneously.
No, I
I
haven't
just I
seen
just
anything
saw a
about that.
video on this stuff today, and then it happened in Sacramento because that's my hometown. That's why I watched the video. And
Mm, mm,
so what happens is like hundreds of kids or young adults
okay,
surround a normal intersection.
okay.
They just pick one and go, okay, we're gonna do it here. And so basically anybody that's at the intersection gets stuck because it's a main
No,
avenue. And they
but
start
it's a
doing donuts. They start doing Tokyo Drift in the intersection. And until they're done, nobody gets to move. So what happened in
oh,
Sacramento is an Amazon truck got stuck in it and got attacked. The guy was able to drive away, but it's like, dude,
wow.
I would
Hmm.
just want to drive right. It's like, I'm not stopping, but you can't do that. You know what I
So
mean?
they're being violent with the drivers?
Well, the driver got away
Or,
unharmed, and a bunch of people got arrested.
but
But
is that their
basically, you're just
purpose?
stealing stuff, and then what happens to them? All these hundreds of kids, a few get arrested, but then all these hundreds of other people get off scot-free, and this is now the new thing. I guess in LA, it's happening. The news crews are getting there.
This is
The news crews are getting there, and it's dispersed before any
mm.
police even show up.
Well, thanks, Joe Biden. Motherfucker.
So it's just, I don't
I'll
know.
say.
If that's happening in California, I bet it's happening in Florida for sure.
Well, I just
I
heard
mean, that culture
Starbucks.
is similar, car culture and party culture, so I bet it happen. But that's just like, I don't even know what to think of that. I want to be like, well, I hope they all get hurt because there's video footage
Where
in
I'm
one
going
of
now.
them.
Bye bye.
Oh, I'll talk to you later.
Later,
See ya.
Viz.
Because they actually have video
Think I
footage
know.
of them doing donuts
Yeah.
and then getting a little out of control and slamming into a couple dozen people. But it's like everybody just gets. It's like what happens? You know, nothing happens to anybody.
That's so crazy. Well, I mean, they're just coming right. Just who knows
And one
who's
of
in the
them,
country now?
they
They're
interviewed
just
somebody
coming
because the
over.
cousin got shot, and it's like, well, I don't know how to feel about it because what are you going to that thing for? LA's not exactly ever been
Yeah, but it spills over
a
into the rest of the
hospitable. Yeah,
world.
exactly.
And I
And now it's
honestly,
like the
I don't
law doesn't
know.
even matter.
I don't even
I
know if
just saw that
Trump
today.
could turn it all around. I think he'd be doing probably the strong.
We're not supposed to be
politics. I don't
talking
know.
Yeah, we're doing
politics,
that.
Rhonda.
I know. I'm so sorry.
You know
I
politics.
realized while my lips were moving, I'm like, oh shit, I'm saying
You know
politics.
politics.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But Hollywood, did you see the? I watched a video earlier about Fran Dresser's speech. Did you see any of that, Jedi Bill?
No, I didn't.
Because she's in the
About how she
actors.
speaks.
No, she gave a
I know, I
speech
just
because
didn't.
they're in the strike, the Actors
Mm,
Guild and the writers, and it was just
really?
funny
What?
because they just said she didn't basically, she said they're the victims here and they're being
Who was
mistreated
there?
and
Oh
the
my
ones on
god.
strike, the Actors
Oh my
Guild and the
Oh,
writers
god.
strike. I watched it on Floral
yeah.
from under a rock, and it was pretty funny because he had some little comments and video clips he put in with it. But I was like, I'm glad I watched this one because I probably would have
Yeah.
went nuts on this lady. It's like,
Yeah.
gosh, she sounds like somebody that works at that big blue box store, you know. But
Yeah.
but she's not from that perspective. It's like you don't know what you're saying. I can't believe you're saying this. You know, it's
Everybody's
just
so
I
damn
don't know.
sensitive. I mean, everyone's so
But it's like,
sensitive.
isn't that why they went to independent film before? Because they didn't like what the industry was offering, or because they wanted to make a movie the
I don't
industry
know.
wasn't doing?
Nobody's happy.
So I don't understand. It's like, well, go make independent films again. Make
The-
those movies great. Show Hollywood that they can't own you. Do this other stuff. But that's
Yeah,
not.
but
actors,
That's not
most
the point
actors
they're
are
taking.
way too full on themselves. I mean, they get
and
paid
they
more
don't
than
even know.
anybody else for little work as possible for
Especially if they're really
pretending.
good looking and stuff.
To be on
No.
call. To be on
Yeah.
call. Go sit in your trailer and wait. Eat that free
Yeah.
food. Eat that free food.
That'd be a hard job, though. Really think about it, where you have to like really try and certain. You have to
I mean,
feel
what did
everything of your character. It would
what
be
did
draining. I have enough problems with
I
just
heard
myself.
the other day? Katie Sackhoff has a podcast. She interviewed Bryce Dallas Howard, and they were talking about stuff, and she just goes, "Our catering budget is more than most of these Netflix, Disney series and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's put that out there."
Yeah.
No doubt.
So
They
I don't,
did.
exactly. Somebody's doing okay for Disney, I guess. Not everybody's not getting money.
No, it's just everything's changing in the world, in my opinion. But I am 55, so. But yeah,
Well, changes every 10 years, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think about. I remember hearing that the good old Western days weren't too much before I was. TV I think was invented in my lifetime.
I found out several years ago, but very late in my life, I found out my great grandmother was alive for a large portion of my
Oh,
life. And she lived to be like 98, I think it was.
cool.
But I found
Wow.
out, and she was a Depression child. So she was alive during the Depression. So it's like, that's the kind of woman like you couldn't even say really anything to without her having some life experience in that.
Oh yeah.
And she,
Yeah.
and even in her older
And
years,
then,
she was very involved in her community. She was in all the clubs and
yeah,
societies and all that stuff.
appreciated stuff. That
But
people appreciated stuff.
I found out that her parents, where they lived, her father sold Model Ts. And because it was
Wow.
so new automobiles were such a new thing that he actually sold himself out of business. But he
What?
then became, because he basically sold so many cars, nobody wanted them anymore. It was still too new a technology. It wasn't like everybody was buying them yet.
Mm.
So
before
he wasn't
Ford.
able to stay as a salesman, and then he went and became a sheriff on horseback.
Wow. How
So
cool.
he was kind of like literally a cowboy, and that was in 1890.
Like Matt
So
Dillon
just
or
like
something.
100 years ago was when think about that. Like 150 years ago, Young Guns happened. Like all that brutal cowboy
Oh, like
savagery
Bonnie and Clyde and
was just like, and that was like 80 years ago, 100 years ago. I mean, it's so recent.
It's really a lot has
crazy.
happened in a short time. I mean, a lot has happened in a very short time.
Joe Rogan, I see in a comedy special, he says it best. He's like, people live to be 100 now. He's like, he's like, the nation was founded in 1776. He's like, that's 3 people ago.
Yeah, no,
It's a
That's
few
because
more
we get
generations, but yeah, literally, if you go like back, you have a few people that live almost 100 years, and it's like, well, they could tell you all of our history.
Yeah, but what came before that? It's like, damn.
And before that, we weren't even here. That long ago, we were coming over on boats. It's that soon. It's crazy how fast it's happened.
It really is. It's moving. I mean, like I said, there'll be cities in the sky. Are we supposed to be talking about? Am I about movies or something? I hope I.
What are we supposed?
Was
Just
you
talk
guys
about
talking about
everything.
movies and stuff? Or
Yeah,
okay,
well,
cool.
yeah, we're talking about movies and old
That's okay.
things of the past. Just
Oh,
no
Um,
politics.
since you do westerns,
but
Yeah,
I was in another chat earlier today, and True Grit came up, and
yeah,
they just asked the chat if they thought it was a good movie. I've seen the new True Grit, and I thought it was a good movie. I can separate it from the old one, but I was
yeah.
curious
I
what
didn't
if you
like the
had
new
seen it.
one.
Oh yeah, I've seen both. I've seen both films.
And I didn't know. See, I think I'm. It's a little easier for me to separate things and go, oh, this is True Grit new and that's True Grit old. Just
To
like I could
watch
do
to
something, but
watch
I don't
older
was
films
curious.
is to study
Hmm.
the history of films,
Yes,
and
it's
that's
not
what
exactly historically accurate all the time.
yeah,
And that's why I like it when they remake stuff, especially westerns, because I'm like, oh, we can kind of get a better feel of what it really was like. Like our first taste of that, I think, was probably Young Guns. Just
hmm
the more of a brutality, because we know there wasn't really a cowboy that walked around like John Wayne and some of the Roy Rogers and these guys. Obvious, they're characters, but
hmm
if we can imagine, it's like if you walked into a town like that, somebody would probably shoot you right away. I mean, they're like, look at this asshole. Who's he think he is? I just can only imagine
I
how
think it
brutal it
was.
was.
I think it was said 5 or 6, maybe 7 years ago. The way of movie stars, true movie stars, don't exist anymore. They
Yeah.
just don't.
No.
There's
Well, I think the entertainer doesn't exist because there's not a lot of actors
mhm.
or entertain that can be entertainers. Like when we were growing up, variety shows were big. And why did
Yep.
people go on variety shows? Because they could do a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
And that's what made them, hey, we can put them on this, we can put them on that. And they can be on easy stuff, like they could guest host on Love Boat, or they could do Hollywood Squares or whatever. But they had more of a talent because it was more of an entertainer atmosphere. This is before TV, man. I mean, TV was the new thing. Not everybody had televisions in their house yet. So we got to look at it like that the entertainment industry shifted so much at that point. If you wanted to see a movie or see a show or something like that, you had to go out. Now, you go out of your way to see something live, where that's the only way they saw that stuff half the time. So, and then you see a movie, but it's definitely a production. And like you were saying, it's more of you're studying the film industry. You're studying kind of how they did stuff, because they had smaller sets, but it would be really cool when they would have a whole town that they actually built up for a film or a series, or we would see old stuff, how they would do, like Bonanza was in a real place, even though it was not the place they said it was. But that kind of set those apart. But exactly what you're saying is it's how Hollywood used to shoot films, the true Hollywood star way, Hollywood
Yeah.
way. Yeah. But I think it's just because, like, Frank Sinatra was a singer and a movie star and an all-around celebrity, and people don't really do that. I mean, how many actors do we hear of now that freak out when a director wants them to sing something?
Yeah.
There still are quite a lot of people that are very multi-talented,
Yeah.
but not in a way that Jim Carrey is, where he could be on a variety show, he could be on almost any television series and pull it off. Not everybody can do all the stuff, you know what I mean? Some people are just comedians. Jerry Seinfeld, probably decent actor, but he's a comedic actor. I probably wouldn't have had Jerry Seinfeld audition for Philadelphia. I mean, whereas Tom Hanks showed us he can do all these things. Tom Hanks would have been one of those talents. It's like, I can do more than the average person. And that's what kept you in business, because they could adapt. They're like, yes, I can do a lounge show here. Oh, you want me on a TV show? I can do that. Oh, you want me in a movie? I can do that. And then now we just have movie stars or TV talent, I guess I would say, on-screen talent. I guess that's more of an accurate description. And not as many of them can sing. And when you find the ones that do the Broadway stuff and are an actor, it adds a whole nother dimension to who they are and what they do as an actor. Because I can't say I've heard a whole lot of Angelina Jolie on the stage.
Yeah, I for one don't care for.
But I'm just saying, like Brad Pitt probably also. I'm just saying there's huge movie stars that just do movies, and then there's huge movie stars like Bryan Cranston and Mark Hamill and I mean Christopher Lee and all these other classically trained people who did Broadway also, and they love doing the theater, and they would almost rather do theater than be a movie star, be a film on-screen talent, So,
but it's hard to be able to do both TV shows and.
No, that's what we were just saying, because he said something about how now we don't really have those Hollywood types anymore, and I'm like, but the entertainers aren't as plentiful as they are anymore. There's not as many people that can do as many things.
Well, you got reality TV, and reality never was that great, no.
And that came about
semi-reality.
The reality TV
is not really reality TV.
Well, yeah. And that started.
It is.
Well, because they still script it. Because they still script it. They still build it up a little bit. It's scripted reality is what it is. But the last strike started reality TV.
Is there anything?
So be ready for a bunch of reality TV.
Well, what about the one guy from the band Kiss? He had his family on there.
Gene Simmons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard some stuff about that TV.
So that was scripted? Well, I guess it has to be.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. His wife didn't actually want to do it. She agreed to do it with him under certain conditions.
Well, can you imagine?
There was there's a lot of stuff that was going on with them personally, and she was like, "No, I'm not doing this show." But he's one of the lead members of Kiss. That dude, all he thinks about is making money. So I mean, but it's the same kind of thing. Like the Stallones are having a reality show right now, and I guess there's rumors that they're not all lovey-dovey like their show portrays them. Like they don't really get along all that great right now. So who knows?
Yeah, I didn't even know he had daughters.
I didn't either. Not until the show came out and the commercials. It makes sense though. I know he had the son.
Well, they had the one son that died a few years ago.
Ventimiglia passed away?
The one that was in Rocky 5 passed away.
No, okay. Yeah. No, that is his son. The one that was in Heroes?
No, the one that was in Rocky 5.
Yeah.
I thought he was in one of those. I thought he was in one of. It must be a different guy. I haven't seen Rocky 5 in a while. But I thought Ventimiglia was in one of the Rocky movies. But I don't know for sure. I haven't seen him. Did
anybody see Balboa? Not Creed, but Balboa.
I've watched them all. I just haven't watched.
Oh my God!
I've seen them all. I've watched them all.
No, Bill, does that is that boy and Balboa? Is that teenage boy? Is that Rocky's son? Do you know?
No, it's not. That was just an actor playing.
Okay.
His son.
Okay, I was curious about that because he would be about that age, I would think.
Unless
And
I'm mistaken, isn't
hello,
it,
Rich the beer guzzler. Welcome.
I think the Ventimiglia, I can't remember if his name was Vincent Ventimiglia. I don't think it was.
But
But he was in
Bill,
Heroes, and that is his son as far as I knew.
Yeah.
Bill, what did you think about that
And then he was in
speech that Rocky gave his son in Balboa about like kicking your ass and all that? Wasn't that was like the
Oh,
best
that
speech
was a
ever?
good piece of dialogue from a
Yeah,
film.
was
Uh,
really.
Rich the beer guzzler says even the show American Pickers is not real. It's all fixed, so they find stuff, etc.
No pun intended.
Sorry, I have to do that, Rhonda, from time to time. I have to pay attention to the people in the chat because without them, I'd just be talking to air and you and you. You know,
I'm
without the
sorry.
awesome people in chat like Canadian Spider
Yeah,
Man, Rich the Beer Gozer,
I
Eric
got.
Sonder, Raquel. You know,
Hello,
I'd just be
everybody.
talking to
Hi.
and Das Wolfen.
Any questions out
Mhm.
there?
I know. And it's like, well,
Oh,
I'm just too used to talking to the air, I guess. No,
Yeah, well,
I'm just kidding.
I was just
you're
trying.
on an interweb show that's
Okay,
live.
so in other words, be quiet for Rhonda.
No, you don't have to be quiet.
Well, I mean, not. I didn't mean it like mean, but give someone else a chance to talk, right?
Hey, the search for Bigfoot is real. No,
Oh, come on, now, don't get me started.
Bigfoot was real. It's not real anymore.
I know.
There is evidence of giant people.
Okay.
So I'm just saying it could be some weird.
There's a
It's
big
not around.
moth
It hasn't
out
been
there.
around anymore. It hasn't been around anymore. Pe-
Mothman's out there.
people get drunk and they see bears walking on their hind legs and they flip out.
They're lucky they're not eaten.
You know that's why a lot of YouTube channels get shuttered down because we're producing out better content than most network or streaming services.
Really?
Yeah. They're just
It makes sense.
there's tons of content on YouTube. You know, it's a big forum.
Yeah, because it's like everybody's got their little bubble, and we get, or
And
I know.
hello, Stark of Iron. Yes,
Hello there, sir.
the triumphant return of the soup. And I'm gonna come up with my own eventually new intro and outros.
You all heard about the Bigfoot photo years and years ago, but the most famous photo that is supposed to be of Bigfoot kind of shows him turning back. But that the man who took that photo on his deathbed admitted that he dressed in a suit and had his wife take the picture.
Yeah, but he could have been crazy when he died.
He could have.
Sorry, no disrespect, but I mean, what if you're half out of your mind on morphine and all that? And you decide, I think I was Bigfoot. You know,
Yeah.
Well, I've seen people
who
think
knows?
they're
Is
Jesus,
I
so
guess what I'm saying, huh?
I seen a guy in the corner think he's Jesus, so
Yeah, there's a few of them out there.
they can't all be right.
No, there's only one for as far as I know, but I can't talk about it. It's with politics and stuff.
I don't like to talk about politics.
Well,
The
they
Earth-
say politics and religion you shouldn't talk about.
The Earth is more than 10,000 years old, and the Earth is flat because it's made mostly of it's made mostly of uncarbonated water. So the Earth is flat.
It seems flat to me. You know, but it's like
it's more of an egg shape.
Well, it was flat, and then it was round. Now it's flat again. You know, who cares? We live around.
Let's not get into that, Arbuk. You might waking.
I'm not gonna go try to find the end.
So
jump
I
off
have a
it.
question. I have a question for you then.
I'm sorry, Bill.
So, since we're going through the things we're going through right now, if Pluto was a planet and then it wasn't a planet and now it's something we don't know that's undefined, is Pluto non-binary?
Pluto, huh?
Hmm.
Are you fucking goofy?
I don't know. No.
You didn't get that joke, did you? I'll say it
No.
again. Pluto, huh? Pluto.
I'm
And
still
then,
upset that
and then I said,
when
"Are
I
you
was
fucking goofy?"
raised, there were 9 planets. Now there's 8, maybe 7. I don't know.
There's
The
only that
planets are
many
big.
they've
Yeah,
told us about.
Yeah.
Neptune is
Well,
gone.
when I was growing up in school, there was always taught there was 9.
Oh
Now
my
there's
God, you're
less.
right. You're right. That scares me now. What if our planet's next?
But when we were growing up in
No,
school, they
we're
still didn't.
definitely a planet.
We are
The
a
only
planet.
one that has life in our solar system.
Do you think there's
Nope.
any Martians
The
out
rest of
there?
the
Up there?
well,
Out there?
there's water on Mars, so yeah.
I don't think there's
It
anything
could be.
in what we know. It's further if it's out there.
Man, don't it hurt your brain trying to even comprehend it? Oh,
Nah, well, the only reason is because you
No.
look in the sky and there's all these countless stars just at the angle you can see.
you
It's
must
like
not live in the city.
Space is endless.
Yep.
That's freaking. That freaks me out, though.
Don't think about
Don't
it.
let it freak you
endless.
out, Rhonda.
You know what freaks me
Don't
out?
let
The
it freak
ocean.
you
The
out.
ocean freaks me out.
Oh yeah, I got it. I'm with you on that one.
It gives me
Swimming
anxiety.
in the ocean. I mean,
Ugh, it gives me
remember when you
anxiety
saw
like a horror movie.
Jaws? And weren't you
Yeah.
scared to go
No.
swimming in the ocean after Jaws?
I see Jaws and I look at and I
Yeah.
say, I will never go out in the ocean in a boat that small.
I know.
Never. I don't even know if I would
You
go
know-
in a yacht. If I couldn't see land, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have anxiety.
And then look, and them big whales, they just pop out and knock your boat over and stuff.
It's I think
Well,
it's
there's
those
a lot
that
of
kind of
dangerous
freaks me out.
creatures in the ocean.
That kind of freaks me out. Those kayakers that show the videos of the whales and
Yeah,
stuff
they
right
got
next
this
to them.
great
Oh
big
my
old-
goodness.
But isn't it amazing? I don't think they get hurt, which
I
just
I can
bowls me
appreciate
over.
that it would give you a thrill inside, like the adrenaline and the realization of what's happening. But if I
Oh my God.
think about the size of what's under
Well,
me,
yeah.
I'll start, because what happens is it immediately becomes a I have no control. It doesn't matter
Yes.
where I
Oh
move.
yeah.
They can kind of hit me wherever.
You're
I
like a
can't
little
move fast
ant.
enough in water, and that's where I
Yeah.
get uncomfortable. So anytime I can't see in the water, it really freaks me out.
Yeah, you're like a minnow compared to the whale and all that.
Like, have
That's
you
like
seen the
scary.
videos of the surfers and the shark ends up in the
I
wave?
have.
Oh no, gosh, that freaks me out so bad.
You know what really freaks me out is bears. I don't like bears anymore. I seen this movie. It was on a true story.
Did you watch Cocaine Bear?
No, I haven't seen it. I mean, this bear wasn't on cocaine, and that's. But no, have you guys seen the? I think it's called Outback. Oh my God,
I don't think so.
it's a true story, and I never want to be around a bear ever again. They're so. This bear grabbed this guy and like picked him apart like a turkey on Thanksgiving Day. It was.
Well,
and they're
I
so
watched
big.
Revenant. That guy didn't die, but I don't want to be
He's
anywhere near a
lucky.
bear. I don't even want to see a bear. Like, if I'm close enough to
Yeah.
see one in the wilderness,
That's too
I'm
close.
already going the other way.
The scariest thing about swimming in the ocean is that you can swim into parts where you will never be able to touch.
Yes,
It's so
yes.
Oh
deep.
yeah, I don't
It's
like
so
that.
deep,
Yeah,
And it can
That's where
happen
it's scary.
very suddenly. There's some beaches that go way out, and there's some that drop off real quick.
and then they got
Yeah.
the undercurrent.
You know,
Well,
I'll tell you,
there's current,
Even-
all
It's
that.
like
Like growing up,
I still
having,
want that doesn't freak me out to the point where I don't want to learn how to snorkel and scuba dive. I mean, so of course,
nope, that freaks me
in
out.
order to do that, yeah, I have to get thinner. I have to get thin, and that's a task
It's
that's
still it's still free. I love the
you know.
idea of looking at all the coral and stuff, but it's
Mhm.
like it's still I'm not
That,
I'm not close enough. If I see something out there that sees me, if I
mm,
see a shark, it doesn't even have to be a shark. If it's a fish bigger than me, I do not want to be in the water with it.
It
or
has
it's got all
all
kinds
the
of
sharp teeth.
tentacles.
It doesn't even have to have sharp teeth. A
What
dolphin might freak me out. I'll be like,
What
nope,
about
I don't want it
tentacles?
touching me. Nope,
What
don't want
about
it touching me.
tentacles? Like
Well,
Nope.
jellyfish have
jellyfish and
tentacles. Yes.
And
octopuses.
the
Yes.
problem
Yes.
is they
Ooh,
have
them spiky, spiky
dominance
things.
underwater. Humans are not. They could, if I get pulled under for too long, for just a little too long, I'm done. If they all can outpower
Oh
me,
yeah.
they all have more strength than me. All they have to do is hit me
I can
once.
never go to the lake again. No,
I was gonna say, Lake
no.
Tahoe freaks me out.
Lakes don't scare me.
There's a
When I
river
can't see the
monster.
bottom, it freaks me out.
I mean, there are rivers and lakes that can be really, really deep.
Sharks and crocodiles can
Oh,
come out of your
it's not
bathroom drain.
karaoke. I think. What was that song? Edmund Fitzgerald. Those are bad lakes.
my gosh.
That one lake. Which one? Which lake?
Rich the Bear Gutter says there's a live YouTube podcast show called Freaky Tales. They talk about ghost stories, paranormal, etc. Tony opens up the phone lines that people call in
Edmund
and have
Fitzgerald.
tell the
So
stories.
that stuff freaks me out too. The
Uh-huh.
only thing that takes the edge off is there's no like real visual hard evidence. There's always
Mhm.
something it can kind of know. Like it seems like we're getting better unidentified flying object sightings right now than we've ever had of ghost sightings. You know, I'm just saying, if there was a ghost sighting in one of those videos that looked that real, I've seen the ones where they see things in the woods and all that stuff freaks me out too. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
I saw that too. Ugh. Because
Yeah.
they always look deformed a little bit or something.
Yeah.
And
Like
I will totally admit it gives me chills because that's another thing. Like, I don't know what that is. It's a
Did you see
uncertain of control thing.
the Blair Witchcraft show movie.
No, I never watched that one.
That was
I
a
heard
movie.
about it. I kind of got bothered when they said at the end that you never see it.
It was pretty. It scared
like,
me
"What?"
because it was done on a home movie. But
Rhonda, are you afraid of heights?
depends on how high.
See, I've never been afraid of heights.
No,
but
I'm not really
height-
afraid of
being
heights.
up high can be scary at times, but I would honestly jump out of a perfectly good airplane, providing I had a parachute.
Oh, fuck that.
Providing
Okay.
that parachute opens and
Well, yeah,
I
but-
have a backup.
Are you
Heights,
going to get it in writing?
You know,
though? What are you going to
yeah.
read it
Heights-
on your way down?
heights, I have full respect for, and it can be scary. Like you said, like if I'm on a 6-inch plank kind of thing, walking super high up,
fucking
it's gonna
iron
freak me
worker.
out. But if I'm in a cave that I can barely squeeze through,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
forget
Oh, yeah.
it.
I like them kind
I'm
of
not doing
questions.
none of that. Heights, I will respect, and and like you said, it can be
There's
scary.
this-
But anything underground or in a cave, and
Suffocation.
There's
Okay.
this canyon in Utah and
Oh,
Arizona
God.
called Priya Canyon. You can hike through these. It's basically a hole in the ground, but you do not want to get caught when it rains because those things flood, and that's where it can
Oh.
get because
You
you have
get
this
drowned
sharp
in the
rock.
crack? Oh my
And I've actually been to places here in Arizona, part of the Grand Canyon, where I've hiked to where I had to hike through caves and go through some really high stuff that was pretty darn
That's
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to this place called Havasu Falls and Mooney Falls.
Where
You know,
at?
it's like 13.2 miles, and then you have to walk further down to get to these certain waterfalls.
Damn.
I've been to this place twice, and I want to get back there
What's it
sometime in my
called?
life. It's
What's
called
it?
Havasupai. There's I think
I
4 or
never
5
heard of
waterfalls to
it.
see. Oh.
I
I
think
never
the
heard of
extreme
it.
sport I'm gonna get involved
What
in.
state is it in? Where's it at?
It's here in Arizona,
Oh,
Rhonda. Yeah,
I'm sorry I missed that part.
yeah, here in Arizona.
Oh,
Excuse me.
That's
Sorry.
why I've been here there twice. But it was years ago.
makes
It was
sense.
over 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
I
I
went
think the
last.
only extracurricular or not extracurricular extreme sport I'm gonna get involved with at this point in my life is I want to get back into skimboarding.
What the hell is that?
It's surfing on the sand. Like you
With your
take,
feet?
well, you have a board.
I think I've seen it.
It's probably like 3 feet and it's pretty wide. But think of it like snowboarding. But what you do is
But not cold.
when the wave crashes in
Mm.
on the beach, as it goes out, as the water and the sand recede, you jog and you drop a board and you jump on it and you can kind of surf on the sand.
Damn, who thought of that?
Oh, that's a super old
Uh,
thing.
Is it? I never
I'd like
seen
to
it.
take this time to say goodnight, Das
Good night.
Wolfen. Have a good rest, my friend,
Good night.
wherever you may be. Take care, brother.
Yeah, he
And
says.
Tony Stark says he's gotta go get ready for your show, and hail the return of the soup. Thank you.
no, that's cool. Do you do the soup thing very often? I know it's the first time I seen
Before karaoke came along,
it.
all I did was the soup, Rhonda.
Well, it's kind of
I haven't done the soup in 2 whole months, and this
It's
is
been a
really.
while.
return.
Yeah,
And
I never seen it.
this is my 311th show of the soup.
Oh,
There's 310 of these before tonight. So
dang.
311.
No,
well, yeah.
Come
I love the
original, you got to come
karaoke, but
original.
now that makes me understand you a little bit more, Bill, because like sometimes, I'm speaking for myself, I find myself getting a little chatty in the karaoke because
Mhm.
because I want to do this, talk to people, but it doesn't mix. You got this and then you got that, right?
Yep. No, we could do both. It just when we do karaoke, I just mostly like to
But we
do the
can't talk
karaoke.
like
So
this for,
yeah.
yeah. So
Karaoke
now I
is
got the best of
more.
both worlds.
Karaoke, I'm all about. Let's keep the singing going.
Karaoke would be more about side comments because you think if you're at a bar, nobody's talking in between songs. You're just waiting for the people to do their song. But there's still the chatter that goes on between songs.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. But then
Oh, I see what your point is.
just
Yeah.
keep the songs coming because it
Right.
usually takes a few minutes for us to transition from one song to the next. If we could do a song, if we only had a minute between every song, it would go so much
True.
faster. But everybody get used to it.
Yeah,
It's
so
taken me a while too.
you can make a comment here and there and that, but you
Mhm.
can't all like go and
Mhm.
just like being at a karaoke bar.
Canadian Spider-Man chimes in. Now cave scuba diving. Now that's
No,
intense.
thank you.
LOL. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going scuba spelunking.
Oh my God, scuba! Hey, did anybody hear about that scuba diver that got through in the fire?
What?
This is supposed to be a true story, right? There was
ruin a
Like the
fire.
fire in California, you know how the trees catch on fire and all that.
So
You know.
how
Anyway,
does
well,
scuba diving?
there was a scuba diver, and he was down in there, scuba diving, and one of the helicopters or the plane, whatever it is, that picks up the water out of the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
scooped this guy up, and they found him in a tree.
It's a rumor.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
It's a rumor. It's
uh,
been proven a rumor.
Oh, is it?
That same story comes up every so often.
Oh,
And the same story,
that's
like,
just silly.
oh, they
okay.
scooped up a whale or they
Yeah.
scooped up something else. It
No,
does come up every so often.
those things only hold so much water. I mean,
story-
it would have to.
No pun
Yeah, that would be
intended.
very
Everybody,
hard
yeah.
to do.
That's
What
just
about
one
a
of those
bucket
things
full of
everybody
water?
hears about it.
What about a bucket full? That's all it took to get that.
Well,
scuba
that's what
diver.
those things basically are.
No.
The fight the fires are big giant buckets to hold a certain
They
amount
just
of
scoop
water.
up, yeah.
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 Some of them got like baking soda or something.
No.
What's red stuff? Fire retardant.
Oh, the fire
stuff.
retardant.
That's
Yeah.
fire stuff. Yeah.
Depends on
Yeah,
where
I
if
seen
they're
it
not
on a
close
movie.
enough. If they're not close enough to a water source, that's what they do. But if there's something they can get to and scoop, I've even seen
I want.
in real emergencies they've pulled out of they start dipping into people's swimming pools.
What? Really? I guess you got to do what you got to do, though.
See,
Sorry, Buck.
where
Where
it comes to scariness with cave scuba diving, you get those claustrophobic areas because you're in there in your wetsuit and the scuba tank on your back, and sometimes you can't get through because the cave areas underwater are really tight and claustrophobic.
The last
You know.
movie I watched when I realized, okay, this is a can't do thing for me, was the Descent movies. I don't know if you've seen those.
Yes, I've seen both of them.
But the scene, it seems there's like 100-inch tunnel, and it's a round tunnel, and the camera's down at the end, and you see the person with the flashlight like on their head or in their mouth, and they're pushing the backpack through. So you see the flashlight just flashing around the backpack, and it's just shh, 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 for like 30 seconds, and they're just wiggling through this little hole, and I'm like, no!
You got to be fucking kidding. Oh, hell
no! And I was like, I can't. I had to take a break. I was like, I got to walk away from this.
Yeah, that's
Forget the horror aspect of the movie and what happens with whatever it is that happens. Just those tight spaces, and they always come out. They always come out. But I'm like, I couldn't even film that scene.
Well, no, you'd be all panicky. Where am I going in my way?
I'd get halfway through and be like, I need out now.
But then if there's no way out, then you're just gonna flip out.
You have to go through it. You'd have to work through it. But God. that would be one of the hardest things. Because you're constricted and you can't move. Like you can't even take a full breath. That's too much.
It's like I run. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie called Free Solo. A guy who goes rock climbing. He did El Capitan, a whole granite mountain without a rope and just climbed it. That's crazy. I don't, because one wrong step, one move, you're dead.
What makes a person?
You have to accept death. You're accepting life, but I'd like to think maybe because
something that has to drive you.
I'm trying to talk. You're breaking my concentration, Rhonda.
I'm sorry. I'm picturing it. Okay.
I was gonna say what you said. What makes people days, and I was gonna refer to what William Shatner said, Captain Kirk, because it's there.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Some people
what other
feel like that.
I have to climb the mountain.
It's like, why do people want to climb Mount Everest. I mean,
Well, yeah,
that
why? I
mountain's
don't
so
know.
high, and
People are obsessed.
very, very few people have reached the summit.
And
You're gonna be the one, right?
and when those people actually successfully do it, they pass all the people who froze to death.
Oh,
Because
fun.
they don't take the bodies
Yeah.
off the mountain.
No,
What
they
a fun
don't.
sport is that?
So as they're trekking up and down this mountain,
Well,
they see all the people who didn't succeed.
Dahmer party of five.
some
or
no,
something,
some view it as a
It's a
sport, but
different
it's
level.
not. It's for some people, it's not a sport. It's a
What
calling.
is it?
It's because it's
Oh,
in
that
them
makes
because
sense.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the desire to feel alive, to
Mhm.
Yeah,
accomplish
it's
something that very so few have done, who have gone to the
yeah.
summit, have survived it. There's this.
It
There's
has to
been
be a calling.
That
there's people who hike the highest summits just because they gotta knock it off their list because
Really?
I climbed seven of the or eight, six of the five of the seven
okay.
highest summits on the
Jeez.
planet.
Okay, Jedi Bill, I watched that episode of South Park. I know what happens.
Really, he's calling from South Park. Really,
Mm.
I thought he was.
Hey, it was funny.
Seriously, he got that from South Park. Really?
No,
He
no, no, no,
understood the
no,
no. I
no.
referenced
I
something
know. I
he was
know.
talking about.
Yeah,
South Park referenced it in a different way. And
yeah.
But
it's funny.
yeah,
If
but
you
you
know,
guys
you
caught
know.
the joke at the same time. That's pretty
Yes,
cool.
of course.
I knew it was funny, even if I wasn't in on it. I could tell it was funny. Idiot.
It would you. God, if you're not a fan of South Park, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
No, but like
You
to
can't
hike
say nothing.
Mount Everest,
I
you're basically
yeah.
invoking death because it's the higher the higher the altitude, the less the oxygen gets pure and less.
Well, you see
It's
how
Everyone's
fast,
it's
how,
very
how slow they,
dangerous.
see how
And
slow they
it's
move.
cold. It's
They do
cold
that
up
on
there.
purpose.
Yeah, even when
That was
people go in May or June, it's
it's
still
still
very
cold. Yeah.
cold because it's so
You're
high.
above the clouds, man.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
And
know
I
the
was gonna
airplanes.
say the person that goes to that hikes Mount Everest is not necessarily an adrenaline junkie.
No,
Either,
He's
because
obsessed. He's obsessed.
it's a different kind of person, that and we lost her again.
Yeah, we lost her.
Are we in the circuits of time now?
Yeah, it might as well be.
Oh, dude.
How about a vortex?
We gotta go see the little dead dude.
She's back.
Oh, see, like Bill and Ted's Bogus 3, the third one, did not need to be made. Did not
No,
need to be made.
no. It's like, and they That's what I hate. They promised all these great things for it, and then it's
Yeah.
like, what?
You know
You
what
got-
really
What?
what
The
really
biggest
what
and butthead.
really did it for me was the girls, because they seemed more dense than Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Tell us
I
how
was
you
like,
really
why
feel.
are they so bad at that? I mean, they're doing it. They were doing it fine, but it was like, this is the friend that everybody has in a group. They're like, they just laugh and they don't even get the joke. Like,
Ignorance is bliss. So,
that was
man,
the
I
only
wish
thing
I was
about that movie that really bothered me. It was like the daughters are so goofy, man. They were just
Well, isn't there like the one Bob and something? Bob and somebody.
what about Bob?
Not Bill and Ted or whatever. No, it was It was kind of like the kind. I can't say his name. Keanu Reeves character.
Hmm. Yeah, that's Bill and
Yeah.
Ted.
That's Bill and Ted.
Ain't there a
What
Bob
are you
in there
talking about?
somewhere?
Oh, well, no, Bob Carlin.
No,
Yeah.
this was
He's
like
in it, but
like
that's his
Bill
real
and Ted.
name.
George Carlin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was
I
thinking
know,
Robert.
but
That's
it
my
was
bad.
Bob
George
and
Carlin.
somebody.
Yep.
They were like a team.
Who's no
Hmm.
longer with us no more.
Always
That's
kind of
just that's
bored.
another thing about film. There's so
God, he's
many
so
of our
good.
we're just rapidly
Oh, dude. Yeah, I forgot
losing
about.
our stars of yesterday.
I've been
I
thinking
know
of
because
that for a
they're in the baby
long
boom
time.
era.
You know.
Baby boomers. There's so many of us. We're all gonna probably
Well, I was thinking
one
of
after
that,
the
and
other.
it's like I talk to pops every once in a while, and I've probably mentioned this to you too, but if you were forming yourself during the 90s, like a little before and a little after the 90s, I think that's probably the best era
Really?
because we had the biggest explosion in everything. The
No.
movie boom, the music boom, cultural boom, fashion boom,
The 60s and
TV,
70s had that.
but they didn't have the internet and they didn't have music videos and they didn't have the
It was
birth
so
of
much
hip hop
easier.
and heavy metal. They had like 5 genres of music. After the 90s, we had like 20. And that's
Right.
what happened with movies too. The
Yeah,
90s made movies they couldn't even put in categories
I
anymore.
know. But in the
They're like,
60s
well,
and
it's a sci fi this,
70s,
this, this.
you used to go to see the battle of the bands. I mean, there were physical bands that would battle for the first prize and stuff.
And we
So
had Ozfest.
we didn't even need TV.
And we had Family Values Tour. And we had Kiss
AMC
for
probably.
8 decades.
Hmm.
I
Probably
love
more like
Kiss.
4 decades, but you know
I
what I
love
mean.
Kiss. Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, things changed, you know.
How old are
I
you?
can 47, right? Something
Mm,
like that. 46,
Oh,
47.
I knew
But
you.
it's just
you're the same age as my young brother.
but I think
What
about
was
it. You think about it and it's like, okay, we went from number 1 hits by people like Dolly Parton, Patsy Cline, but then it went to Elvis Presley and Buddy Holly, but then it went to Led Zeppelin and the Doors, and then it
Grand
went to
Funk,
Metallica and Billy. I mean,
Alice
it
Cooper, Ted Nugent,
exploded. It
Peter Frampton.
exploded. There
Yeah.
was nobody like Pat Benatar before them. Before that era, there was no
There
women
was
singing that could sing like that.
Joan Jett.
That's the same era. Before
I
it,
know,
Well,
like
but
they had
in Patsy Cline's era, were there anybody that sang like
Janis Joplin. You had Janis
oh,
Joplin.
and that was
yeah,
kind of
thank
the
you.
beginning of it, exactly
Yeah,
like Pink Floyd and all that. There was nothing, but when the electric
it
guitar
started in the
started getting
'70s.
used,
Yeah,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
changed. When drum sets started getting bigger, things changed. When people
hmm
started screaming, I could only imagine. Like
when
people went nuts over the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
When they put Tommy Lee in that cage, rolling drum cage that
Oh, yeah.
Oh
turned
my,
in a
goes upside
turntable.
down and
Yeah,
everything. Oh
yeah.
my god, I've seen Tommy Lee and I've seen Korn both
Wait, don't
several
tell me.
times, and they do
Okay.
very athletic stuntish stuff with their
Yeah.
drum kits. It's amazing what they do.
And
I
those guys,
mean,
it's amazing that those guys survived drugs,
I
alcohol
know.
and
of the
They
and
still look,
business.
they
and that
still look
was a
good.
time when we were dealing with people playing tracks in their concerts and lip syncing, and these
Yeah,
were the bands that showed us, nope,
Milli
we
Vanilli.
do it live,
Oh,
we do it
Millie
live.
Vanilli.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one
But
guy
that's what
killed
metal
himself.
did. That I think
yeah.
that's what metal did. It's like, look, we don't do
Yeah.
all this stuff that all these pop people are getting accused of. We
I
are
was like,
real.
Are you talking about glam rock?
I hate when they broke
Oh,
that
all of it.
news about Milli Vanilli because
Yeah.
I was
I
one of the
still
first.
like their songs.
I was one of the first ones who went out and bought that album on
Yeah.
cassette. And
Do you remember the
then my heart
skit?
was broken. It's like,
Hey,
oh,
boys,
now I gotta
man.
hate him now because
Do you remember
Oh,
the
no, but I
skit
really
on
like
In
them.
they're
Living Color?
phonies. Yeah,
What was
Yeah,
the
no,
song?
yeah.
Oh, God.
blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah. There's
verse did
two
they
of
get?
them. And what's the other one?
There
This
was one real popular.
girl, you know it's true.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh, ooh,
Oh,
I
I
love
love
you.
you. That's the one I got stuck on, I think. Because they were doing their little dance and shit.
I want to be vanilla.
But
They were the
you know what?
first.
How
Well,
They
many
were the first
people?
pop stars to wear a
we
bicycle
our
outfit in a music
generation would have
video.
never known who the Monkees were if MTV didn't bring it back.
You know,
You know, MTV
absolutely.
brought the Monkees back and made them famous again, and made all their
Yeah.
songs famous
And I
again.
have to say, the Monkees are
Yeah.
kind of famous because of TV. They
Yeah.
weren't the Beatles that just did it with their
No.
music. They weren't,
Right.
the Monkees were partially because of the television show. And they were
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But could you
Well,
imagine how nuts everybody would have been if the Beatles got on a TV show?
uh,
Oh
well,
my
that'd
Well,
be
god.
a
there
bigger
was always the Ed
multitude.
Sullivan Show.
Well, yeah.
And
And they did have their movies, and some of the
Yeah.
movie footage is legit where the crowd is chasing them. Like,
um,
see, that's what I mean. Like, things
hey, hey,
changed.
we're the
Nobody chased
monkeys.
anybody like that before Elvis and the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then after that, it became commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
And now we do stage diving.
But,
And
but
that was all
the
90s.
monkeys, they didn't even know each other. That was like an experiment that went
Oh,
pretty
a
good.
boy band? The first boy band?
The monkeys, yeah, yeah.
That was like all
Basically,
those white
I
boy
never
bands
know.
in the 90s. They were like, oh, we didn't know each other before we started making music. We we
Oh
met,
yeah,
what was that? We first met 4 weeks before we were on Star Search.
no doubt. Or the Mickey Mouse Club,
Oh my
Justin
goodness.
Timberlake,
So many singers came from
from the
that.
Mickey Mouse Club. I
Well,
know.
and that era even. Like Alanis Morissette was that same age, but
Oh,
she wasn't on Mickey Mouse Club. She was on a
no.
Canadian one.
Oh, she got all badass and shit. Started the
That
you
just
wanna know.
yeah, that was like
I'll say
grunge
that for
woman rock.
tomorrow. Huh?
So what'd you think about grunge rock, Jedi Bill? Were you like a big fan, or was it just something
Oh,
you
I liked it.
liked? Or
I
I
liked
just
it, but I didn't. My big love was the hair bands, the Van Halen,
well,
The
the
yeah,
Motley
glam,
Crue.
is that glam rock
You
or
know,
no?
yeah.
That ain't glam rock because they didn't wear makeup,
As
right?
what?
they did.
But not like the one people did.
If you see their old, like I have Motley Crue's first album, that Shout at the Devil album.
Yeah,
They got almost as much makeup as Kiss. It's just not totally
hmm
covering their face.
yeah.
But
Which one was that? Slayer,
like
Slater,
that.
Slayer.
That
There's a
That
group
yeah,
was
called Slayer. Yeah,
the
that
one with
was
the big hat, the
probably
black hat.
that's Slash from Guns N'
Slash.
Roses.
Yes, that's what I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Those were and that was probably the change when the metal they were like we can do the same music as you and we don't have to dress up quite so much because I remember Guns N' Roses' first album,
Oh my
like
god, I love his
Welcome
voice.
to the Jungle. They totally made them look like that 80s hair band. And then
Right.
they did like their next couple songs, and Axl Rose's hair was flat against his head, and everybody had their own style. And it was like, okay, this is how the band is, not that other
Yeah.
way.
So
It was a pretty
far
drastic
away.
change
I
because
hated
they
when they
did.
had when they all the hair bands chopped their hair off.
God.
I could never have long hair back then because I had to
But
have
did
jobs and I would get
but
Really? You
ridiculed.
did
never,
But
you
you didn't
but
want
now
really
this
long
is why I
hair?
have the long hair now.
did
Really?
you really think
Yeah.
were you one
I
of
got
those
a piece
fans
of
that
bull
thought Metallica sold out because they cut their hair?
Uh, you know, I
No,
I saw him regardless.
I
But
mean okay.
with
I
James
I I,
Hetfield and
I
that
never
band, right?
got around to seeing uh Metallica in the 80s when they first started. I didn't see them
Yeah.
until the 90s.
There's somebody I haven't got to see yet. I'd like to see them. I
Are
thought
they alive
they had a
anymore?
big tour a couple years ago, and I was like, God, I really should go to that. And I
Mhm.
blew it and kind of
What's your
didn't
favorite
pursue the
song by
chance.
Metallica?
Who you asking, me or I don't want to be?
Whoever's listening. No.
Well, I can't pinpoint one single. I can't. That's just too hard of a question to answer because I love them. I love almost all their
All
music.
right, then you can
You
pick
know.
two. You can pick two of them.
I would pick Fuel only because it's so fast and hard, like they are, and it's that way through the whole song. Like I love Master of Puppets. Whoa, love that
And
song.
that's
But
the one.
Yeah.
but it's got the
Okay.
melody in the beginning or in the middle and the tempo changes, and that's why the song's great. But like
Yeah.
I like Metallica for their speed, like what they started out doing. Let's do it faster. Okay, do it faster. Let's practice harder.
Yeah.
Do it faster.
Only,
So I
yeah.
like that Fuel because it was like, oh, this is like them again, the old. Because that was on their newer stuff. But to me, it was like, oh, this is them just,
the singer.
yeah, it was
Okay.
just them pumping out a major jam. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, this is what I like. But I like those, like Fuel, Kickstart My Heart. And then that
Yeah.
I can't remember the title of it right now, but that Iron Man
Kickstart My Heart
Iron Man
was
song with
that.
ACDC.
Oh, we're gonna ride on.
No, what is the song that Iron Man comes out to all the time now for ACDC?
I don't know that.
Shoot to Thrill.
Shoot to Thrill. Those
Yeah.
three songs for a while now have been like my go-to. Like these are gonna get me pumped up. If I bump those back to back to
Yeah.
back, oh, we're going fast.
Yeah.
I have a lot of songs I like to jam to, and I don't just like metal. Like I'm a really big fan of high tempo dance and things like that too. But just that.
Yeah, I'm
Metallica
not.
does rock in a way that not a lot of other metal people do because all their instruments are clear. The guy sings, he has melody, he doesn't just carry one tone, and they have musical talent, and they can thrash like fucking hell. So that's why
Eric,
I love them.
get ready for Star Trek monkeys. The monkeys. What?
Hey, we're the monkeys.
People coming to your town.
Spark, are you a monkey?
Weren't too busy.
Well, it's like
singing.
I can't love just one genre of music. I love it all.
Yeah.
There's music.
Yeah.
I like classic. I like classical. I like Beethoven, Bach, because all those bands, those heavy metal bands, rock bands, it all came from variations of the early beginnings.
Truly. What would
What-
if there was no music? Can you
Is there
imagine?
anything you actually don't like? Like you're like,
I don't-
when
I
it
don't
comes
really like
on, I
opera
don't
that
want to
much.
hear about it.
I hate
When it
opera.
comes on, I don't.
The only
wanna
thing I
hear
really
it.
can't stand is gangster rap.
Well, is it gangster
Oh,
rap
yeah,
like
that's
hardcore
so
gangster
sad.
rap, like hardcore heavy metal is? When they're just like,
nasty.
Well, they use the word, the B
Like,
word a lot.
do you like Snoop Dogg?
and
Snake and
N-word.
pussy.
Do you
I
listen
like
to
Snoop
Snoop
Dogg.
Dogg? See,
Yeah.
he's
Is that the
gangster rap
family
though.
show?
So it's just a particular version of gangster rap you don't like. Like I like heavy metal, but when the singer doesn't sing, like when he just carries one note, I don't like it.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
gangster
oh,
rap,
there's
like
one.
you might like Dr. Dre, you might like 50 Cent, but you might not like Eazy-E so much, or Ren, or some of the other more real street guys. But if it sounds like you like pop style gangster rap though.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about E40?
Well, like Dr. Dre, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was
Anybody Dr. Dre touched kind of was what started gangster rap because it was a LA origin
Mhm.
thing. But there are a lot of groups that came out of LA that weren't necessarily gangster rap. But it's just more that I would say gangster rap is it really is West Coast music. It's West Coast
Well,
LA.
learn to like Too Short, and of
Okay.
course the Two
Too
Live
Short's
Crew
very LA.
Two
Yeah.
Live Crew because it had all the
Yeah. But
the
even Too Short, like I like Too Short, I like half
yeah,
of his stuff, and then half of
yeah,
it's like, oh, that's too gangster for me.
yeah.
Like it's too. It's just it doesn't speak
It's
to me musically enough.
Mm-hmm.
I like
And I
T-shirt.
so you like melody also. So
Yeah.
I can understand that. Do you like Eminem?
Oh hell yeah! There's nothing I don't like from Eminem.
Well, I'm trying to
What do you
think
like
like
better,
if
Kid
it
Rock
gets
or
because
Eminem?
he's pretty hardcore. He
Oh,
has his top
Eminem
hits.
every single day over Kid Rock.
Yeah,
Oh
a
yeah, for sure, dude.
Kid
lot of
I
Rock
mean,
is
people
an
Kid
like
Rock.
acid rocker, but not
Yeah,
even a rapper.
Kid Rock.
Uh,
I really do still kind of put him in Southern rock because as his
yeah,
career progressed, he
mm-hmm.
started doing more singing. It was
smart.
really just
Yeah,
those first couple CDs he put out that had the rappy rock style. But it was like, oh, Limp Bizkit does this. That rap rock,
yeah. He
you
didn't
know.
stay in that. Like Eminem, he's just rap
No,
basically.
yeah,
You know,
he's very southern.
he's like
He very much showed that
he
like
is
later on.
excellent. There was some guy that won awards. Puff Daddy. It wasn't Puff Daddy, but it was
Indeed,
one of
Eric.
them. Huh?
Eminem is a master.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. He said, you know what? I'll be trying to like front Eminem, like he's real deal, and
But
if you think he's lost it, then think again. Basically,
I
um,
also admire and respect the classic. Like remember on Saturday night we were doing a lot of 50s and 40s songs.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
that was
You
fun.
know, you know.
Yep.
I just don't know a lot of them because my mom was a little younger parent. She was only 20 years older than me. So
Yeah.
when I was growing up,
Which one?
she was so when I'm 5, she's 25. She's listening to Led Zeppelin, The Doors, Pat Benatar, Fleetwood Mac, all these new rock bands. So that was their style. So I kind of got introduced to classic rock when it was new rock.
Totally. And
So
then
that's
you
as a
probably
very young age,
Well,
and
I
I
grew I
really
grew
like
up
the Beatles and Beach Boys though.
I
did you
grew up on the
introduce her
Beach
to music?
Boys,
Hmm.
Steely Dan,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
Spyro Gyra. You know,
Mhm.
those
Did
were
you
all
turn her on
stuff
to your
that
music?
my dad listened to. You
The
know,
earliest tapes I was buying was like you Beach Boys, like surf stuff. I really liked that
Oh,
surf stuff, really
nothing
fast and fun.
hmm
Beatles, as young, I really liked Beatles stuff. And then, gosh, what was the other one? It's so funny. I'm not gonna remember now. I feel so bad. That was such a good one
Yeah,
too.
we could come on.
I'll remember in a second.
oh,
But yeah, those two.
we
Oh,
lost Rhonda for a
and
second.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh yeah,
Early on, like his stuff, somebody pointed me at like as early on as the Yoda song, like way
uh
back
huh.
then, and I was like, oh my god, this is so funny. And then a cousin, he actually lived in L.A. and he started introducing me to rap. And the first rap song he introduced me to was by Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff,
hmm
called "Nightmare on My Street."
yeah,
so So yeah, and that's how I got introduced to rap, and I was like, "Wow, rap is fun and
yeah.
fast and dancey," And then the next time I would see him, it'd be a few
Yeah.
years later. He's like, "Oh, you haven't heard the Chronic by Dr. Dre yet?"
Did,
So
did,
that's
did you ever did Padawannabe? Did you
yeah.
ever listen to the Dr. Demento show?
I used to, but sometimes it just got a little too strange for me. Like at a certain point, it gets a little too goofy, and I'm like, okay, I need to take a quick break.
I
But I
was
did watch a
introduced
lot of it.
to
Then
Dr. Demento in the
fish heads,
80s.
roly poly fish
Yes.
heads.
I
Yeah,
was
80s.
introduced to him in the 80s, early 80s, around 80, 81. And I would tune in every Sunday night for 2 hours. I
That's
would
funny.
listen to the Dr. Demento show.
I remember. I mean, I listened to him for years, but I remember listening to him somewhere. I forget what station it was, but I listened to him. I had a job at the drive-in theater, so I would come home super late, like 2 or 3 in the morning, and he would be playing. And it's like, wow, okay, let's listen to this. But a lot of Weird Al Yankovic on that show too.
Yeah.
You know, and if you watch any of those documentaries, they actually give a lot of credit to each other, so it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's cool. Do you
But
guys
yeah,
like
those
Shaggy? Did anybody like the band Shaggy?
What?
I know the rapper Shaggy. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
what
a
I'm talking
band.
about. Yeah.
Is that
Well,
that's
it wasn't me.
um
Is that what you calling it?
I
Wasn't
said
me.
bombastic. Tell me fantastic, Mr.
Yeah,
Lava Lava.
yeah, yeah, Mr. Lover. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
that
that
was
one.
in the clubs when I was dancing.
Yeah, my kids like that.
Oh
And
my
let me
goodness.
see
Oh,
that
you know we're
thing.
getting a Bob Marley. I think we're getting a Bob Marley film coming out around Christmas.
I want to say I've heard something about that too.
So,
See,
yeah. As far
what
as
do
the
you think
movie,
about him?
I love Bob Marley. I
Is
love
there a
his
lot of
music.
songs by him that you like? Because to me, it's like I have several CDs, and I'm like, gosh, there's only really a few songs
Yeah, there's
that
only
I
a few
would
songs.
play over
I
and
Shot the
over.
Sheriff, Three Little
Yes,
Birds,
Okay.
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
So see
Could You
that's
Be
more what I
Loved?
meant. Like he has a few hits, but he wasn't like, oh my god,
What's
this
the other
guy is a
one?
just
Come on,
super
let's all
talent.
get together or something like
No,
that.
I always remember the old song. I forget who it's by. It was by some kids, but I remember when I was little, hearing the Bob Marley songs. You know, what is it? One love and
One
Oh
one
yeah,
Love.
woman,
one
one
love,
pride,
one
all
heart.
that. But then
Let
it was
Yeah, just
pass the Dutchie on the left
get
hand side.
together.
that
Pass
wasn't
the
that, but that
Dutchie
was
on the left
that
hand.
wasn't
It's not
that
them. It's a
wasn't.
different group.
Yeah,
Same time
but
though.
that's another '80s
That was
hit. You
Youth
know.
Nation or something like that.
Oh my God,
Well,
I
I
was
You were
have
a
it.
little kid.
Shoot,
You do?
I have it right here on my phone. Matter of fact, somewhere. Where is it in the library? Uh,
Youth Nation. Nation of Youth. Youth Nation. I say Youth Nation.
let's see, albums.
There's a show. I can't. I'm trying so hard to think of the name of it because I haven't watched in a while. But it's music, and you got like uh, Hall and Oates. You got Daryl Hall, and then you have the other stars. But they're like all across the whole wide world. You know, they're doing this stuff on video, TV, because they can't all be together. But you know, they're like joining in this music. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I got kicked out again. Figured. Anyway, all across the world on these phones or TVs, these people are like connected. I'll have to tell you the name of it. I have to look it up.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
been
so
a while.
awesome. I mean, it
I
has like people from Zimbabwe, and then it has like oh, what's his name that I love so much? Uh, Leon Russell. No,
Musical Youth.
Musical Youth. Dang it! Lost that bet.
but I'm
Lost
gonna
that
think of the
bet.
name of it, and I'll tell you, Bill, because you'll laugh.
Copyright. That song's probably old enough. It
The
wouldn't
steel
matter.
drum.
Yeah,
One
that's
of my
an
favorite sounds is the
old
steel
'80s
drum.
tune.
God, that's so long ago.
Yeah,
Like
it was
mid
that was a
80s.
famous one from the '80s. No, early '80s, like
Yeah. Gosh, that's so
around
long ago.
'81, '82 era.
Oh, was
You
it
know.
that? Okay. See, I
Yeah.
don't. My early years, I don't really remember.
How early?
The only stopping point I have is like, okay, I remember at a certain point I started kindergarten because things kind of changed. You start going to school, so your schedule changes.
Dramatic.
Well, before that, it was like I said, my mother was young. My father was passed away already at this time,
Wait a
so it
minute.
was kind
Can
of
I
a
just?
party
Can I
atmosphere.
just? I have to inject this here. I'm sorry, but because you keep saying, your mom's. was 20 years younger than.
20 older than me, yeah, only 20 years older
Well,
than me.
I'm older than you, but I have a son that's exactly 20 years younger than me too.
Well, no, then you
So
would relate though. When you're in
yeah,
your
that's what I'm
20s
saying.
and when I'm 0 to 10 years old, my mother's 20 to 30. So
Yeah, but when you're
those are
60,
her
he's
years.
pushing.
Well, no, but I'm saying those are the years when she soaks in a lot of music. She soaks in a lot of movies
Absolutely.
and things. But that's what I mean. So like she was soaking in all that. So that's what I was initially introduced to.
And I was going to ask you, I tried to ask you earlier. So, after like you got into your like teenage, young adult years, did you turn around to some music? My kids, that's why I'm asking.
I okay. I was only classic rock. What would be
Okay.
considered classic rock now? It wasn't quite classic rock yet.
Aerosmith, Bob
AC/DC
Dylan,
and Metallica are now
But
considered.
then but
Uh,
then
uh,
like
Def
and
Leppard,
Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, all those are all
but like
classic
yeah,
rock.
so
Aerosmith.
I mean Aerosmith, like I knew all their early stuff. Toys in the Attic and all that junk that came out.
Yeah.
Steve Miller, I knew all that early stuff. Pat Benatar, like I said, Doors, all that stuff. Those are all the ones that they had. They had all these
Oh, that's
records,
awesome. Your
and
mom's
they
like,
would listen to Friday night videos and shoot pool. So it was
I want to
like
be your mom. She sounds cool.
music was just very ingrained in me. So until I got into probably junior high, I was like pretty much only classic rock. And then, like I was telling Jedi Bill, like I, as a young person, the music I picked out was like Beach Boys type music because I liked all that
Right.
Jan and
Yeah.
Dean and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I really liked the Beatles, and then Weird Al Yankovic because he was funny, and his
Yeah.
music was still good. But then,
I'd love
as
to see him.
my cousin moved to LA as he got older and hip hop started becoming a thing, he introduced me to Will Smith, early Will Smith, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the
Dang.
Fresh Prince.
Get your
So
chicken
that
with
was my first rap stuff. But then Weird Al Yankovic's kind of doing that same thing. So I'm still listening
I'm
to him.
saying.
But then when when I hit junior high in 7th grade, you start going to dances.
Yeah.
So I go to my first dance and I listen to the music. And back then, there's not really dance moves you do to rock music. You just kind of move. But there's like when you do hip hop dancing, there are moves you can learn. Whereas
What about
if you're trying to dance to the Doors or Bon Jovi, it's a little different. And Bon Jovi was hugely popular at that time, but so I go to the first dance, see some people dance, most everybody stands around, and I'm like, this is boring. So I don't go to a dance the whole rest of the year. My friends talk. Go ahead.
Rich the beer guzzler says, my teachers hated us wearing heavy
Oh, I
metal
got
t-shirts in
stories
high
about
school.
that.
Yes, yeah, I remember that too.
So I don't go to any more dances all of 7th grade year. My friends talk me into going to the 8th grade dance. I go. Same thing happens. Big deal. Everybody's standing around. Hardly anybody's dancing.
I got in trouble for we went to the zoo in 8th grade. It was my freshman year of high school. I brought the cassette tape of George Carlin, Place for My Stuff, and we played
so
that,
funny.
and I got in so much
Did you
trouble
play the
for
7
that.
words?
But
bit?
everybody loved it. Yes.
You're so bad.
I think I went to detention
fuck
for that.
motherfucker?
So that's so funny.
Words. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what happens after 7th grade year? It's summertime between 7th and 8th grade year. I find a late night video show. I stay up all night, all the time anyway. Super night owl. So
What show was
I
it?
start watching. This is the time when dance videos like MC Hammer, Bobby Brown,
Yeah.
New Edition, real dance videos come out. So I start watching all these videos and I learn all the dances.
Did you really?
So 8th grade year comes up and all my friends are like, you should go to the dance. You should go to the dance. Okay, I'll go to the dance. And then go to the dance and they're like, how come you're not dancing? And a song comes on I know and I'm like, okay, I'll dance. And so
Good night, Raquel.
Night, Raquel. So I start doing all the stuff I see in the videos that I've been practicing all summer, and everybody freaks out. They're like, how did you learn to do all that? Nobody knew I did that, and then I met a couple guys, and we started doing routines. So all through 8th grade year, we were dancing, and then after 8th grade year, we found an underage club that we could go to.
Yeah.
So that was an awesome summer.
Did you do the MC Hammer dance?
Yes, I did all of it. I used to do backflips and handsprings and the splits, and I do flips off walls.
My oldest son still hates me because I didn't buy him some MC.
I can't believe I could do all that stuff now. I'm like, I would not even try to do anything like that now. I feel like I'd break a leg, literally. But yeah, I used to do all that crazy crap. Threw my knee out dancing. Oh my gosh. Did we lose everybody? See, we lost Rhonda. I think Jedi Bill walked away. George Carlin is the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. I completely agree with that. I love all his stuff. Because you can watch it all now, and it makes just as much sense as it did back then. But back then it was shocking. And how could he say anything like that? Now it just makes sense. What else we got? Oh, the teachers hating the heavy metal t-shirts. When I was in high school, my buddy was... I can't say he was like an activist, but he would wear rock tank tops where they would hang really low on the sides. And he would get in trouble all the time because you could see his nipple. But women could wear tank tops and they would never get in trouble. And my friend would also get in trouble because he had one earring at the time and he wore dangling earrings. He had a little dagger earring. And the principal always used to get mad at him because he had a dangling earring. But women could wear as big earrings as they wanted to. And it was really weird because the principal at that time, he was literally a Holocaust survivor. And he kept giving my friend this kind of shit.
You know, people just don't like what they don't know, I guess. Because I remember the first time I seen a male person with 2 earrings. I didn't like it. One was cool. But I thought, why are you wearing 2 earrings? But you know what? That I was judging. Now men wear 2 earrings. You know, what do I know?
I like a big hoop on a girl.
Now we're talking about a whole different subject now. Right?
But yeah, my friend used to get crap all the time for wearing dangly earrings just because he was a guy.
I only have my ears pierced. You guys got more than 2 pierces. That's getting personal. I'm so sorry.
I don't have any pierces, but my friend did all 3 of his on his own.
I used to have.
He would just ice cube his ear and then shove a safety pin through it.
I had my left ear pierced, but it closed up. I even pierced my tongue once.
Oh yeah, he did his tongue too.
You didn't pierce.
Did your tongue swell up? His tongue swelled up big.
Yeah, well, I ended up losing the
the ball.
the thing when eating food sometimes.
Oh, it rolled up. The ball screws off. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
so needless to say, I never
Tried.
never did re-pierce it.
That was
Ouch.
that's
Did
a
that
good
hurt?
that's a
Did that
legitimate
really
try though.
hurt?
Hell yeah.
No,
I think
What?
the tongue would
Not at
have to be
all.
like really sensitive, no?
I know.
I should-
I mean, for a day, I talk like this. That's that because you talk like this, and to get the thing does. Because it's the thing does, and you got to talk like
You
this
sound like
to
Jar
clear
Jar
the
when he got
heel.
hit by the binders.
No,
My tongue is fat.
Yeah.
I don't, and then people, never mind. I'm not talking about tattoos. I think that's off the, there's a rule about tattoo talking too. It was a hard thing to say, try it. There's a rule about tattoo talking too. It's a tongue twister. Try it.
Rubber baby bunkers.
That I never could say that. You know what's the hardest one ever though? I bet you guys gotta know this. It's a very short one, but nobody can do it. You have to say toy boat at least 3 times really fast. Toy boat.
Mm.
Yeah, somebody.
Not gonna try. Honestly, just silly.
Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
now we lost the Padawannabe.
Mhm.
Ah, jeez.
Just people hang up when
Huh?
I think they're hanging up because I came out. I'm sorry, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
Is anybody here still?
Well, it's 1:12 a.m. my time.
Oh yeah. So
What
yes.
4 a.m. with 3 free or with
Yeah.
3?
Well, they could have said good night. But, anyway, yeah, it is getting early and late at the same time. So I guess this is a toodle.
No, we're
Thank
not
you.
ending the show. I'm not ending the show. Are you ending my show, Rhonda, without my permission again?
No, I want to be your manager.
I don't say it's over till it's sit. Oh.
There's fairly things in there,
Oh. What? You hit the wrong button, Rhonda. You both hit the wrong button. And now I'm here until either of you come back. Oh. Music good, but you gotta respect where we all came, where everything came from, and you should try. That's why we're here, to remind you of a good, because I don't know, music has changed so much. For me, there hasn't been a whole lot of good music in recent years. Hey, Padawan, welcome back.
It like froze on me mid sentence.
Ah.
Oh man, Rhonda left.
No, she hit a wrong button or her phone kicked her out or something.
See, and here I heard her
Yeah.
talking some stream interruption smack. Well, at least they could have said goodbye. Hey, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. It does. It happened to me tonight.
I'm hardwired.
Yeah.
Granted, my hardwire's 75 feet, but still.
I got booted off my own show tonight because my internet went wacky for a moment.
Yeah, that was funny.
I don't know what happened there.
It happened. It just happens, man. I'm surprised, honestly, with as much stuff as we float around electronically, I'm surprised how much comes through. Like, it's very rarely we're like, you didn't get that text or, whatever.
Yeah.
But I typed something in chat earlier today on somebody else's stream and it just never showed up. At least not that I could see. And then I looked on my other thing and I'm like, well, I know there's not a button that erases everything.
You
So
can
it
you
just
can
kind
you
of
can remove your
disappeared.
own comments on most
Yeah, but I
channels.
usually have, but it was like I wrote it, hit enter, and it just went away. It didn't
Rhonda's
show
back.
up. There, see? See, it happens.
I
Oh,
know,
geez,
but I'm not really sure if I'm doing it or you guys are doing it. But I
she
ain't
didn't
going
Oh,
even
away.
say goodbye. She didn't even say
I didn't
goodbye.
do it to you, Rhonda. It was your phone. It wasn't me.
It
I know.
I
happens.
I'm
would
just.
not do that to you, okay?
I know. I just have to get attention.
I might do that to others who deserve to be booted. Like
Yeah.
if they say something they shouldn't or
It's
talk
weird.
about subject matter that
It's not
I don't
like
like here,
like
I'm gonna
politics.
I know. See,
Huh?
I know the ones who come in here and they'll say they have a certain mannerism or they have certain
Yeah.
vocabulary that gets used a lot. I always
Yeah.
hover over their thing, ready
I
to
know.
like click.
All
Well,
right.
no, that's your job, though. I just recently been thinking about that and realized that it's like, it's not just that you're on here like kind of having fun, which we all are. I know I am.
Yeah,
But then at the same time, though, you're the one that you got to control the shit.
yeah.
So at first, when, like if I was coughing or something and you muted me, I used to get pissed off. But now, now I'm like, oh, but now, yeah, now I mute myself.
And
So,
and usually, Rhonda, if I mute you on a karaoke show, it's because the singers who are up singing don't like when you clap
yes,
or say something. So it's just
yeah.
for those few
No,
singers where
no,
they're doing
I
their
get it,
song.
because, just
It's
because,
nothing against you
no, I
at
know.
all. Just,
But it's because, I have my certain way of enjoying music. Doesn't mean that everybody's got to hear me clapping. I get it. I didn't at first, but now I'm like, I'll turn mute
Clapping
off and
throws
I'll
me off,
clap.
man.
I'll clap and kick and punch the walls and everything, and then I'll come back on and quiet. Hello? No.
I don't, personally, I don't mind the things in the background, but I can roll through them. Not everybody can. Some people hear a noise and they're like, what
Yeah,
was that?
I
Some people
know.
just flip out because the streaming is different. Like
Yes.
if you've ever karaokeed in a bar, you got people talking all the time, so it's not, you just kind of get used to that.
yeah.
But
Well, and I
some
wanted to
people
be
can't
encouraging, but, it could be distracting. So,
because it comes through. It doesn't come through on time. That's the
right.
biggest.
Oh,
That's
I
the
get
biggest
it.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is you'll
Yeah.
clap even if you think you're clapping on beat.
Right now.
They're not
Okay.
hearing you on beat
Oh,
at all.
well, it's
They're
fucked
hearing you
up.
a different way. Yeah.
Well,
And that's why we can't do a lot of duets because they just don't work right. We haven't figured.
Yeah.
I think I figured a way around it,
some
but it
people,
still isn't great. Like if I wanted to do a duet with you, Rhonda,
with
we would have Bill look it up because
my
then we
that's
would
great.
both have a similar delay. But
Yeah.
it still is not perfect. But that's
Can
Yeah.
the
you hear it?
best
All right.
thing
So
I've heard
everybody's
of.
delay is different on their
It
device.
can be,
Yeah.
yeah, it can
Wow.
be.
That's like scary.
Well, it
Hello.
depends on if
Hello.
somebody's on Mint Mobile or in Xfinity.
Yeah.
Why? Which one's better?
Well, it just depends. It really just
Well,
comes
I'm
down
currently
to
on
your speed,
Xfinity.
Me
and
too.
then it
I
comes
don't
down to
pay ten
speed
bucks a
too.
month, so there's
Like
that.
my wife has to use, we have to have business class because she works from home. But it's
Uh-huh.
still,
Oh,
I still just dropped. We have the best internet you can get, and I
Yeah.
still dropped off. So
it's insane. They keep raising their prices too. It's like, come on, brother. How
well,
much would you pay? And if you don't mind me
I'm
asking,
I have no
But
idea. My wife does it.
before you,
I,
yeah,
I could tell you this, Rhonda. His
hmm,
is more expensive than what I pay, and I pay almost $95 a month. So
this
And
that we're
what's
I
doing
could
right
tell you
now.
it's more than that. The business one.
ridiculous is she works for the
Oh,
state and they don't even help her with that bill.
Wow, that's crappy.
You know what?
It
You
it
guys
doesn't
have to
make
be
like
like,
they didn't even used to get parking permits when they would work at the office, and it's like you're kidding me. They
so
don't
are
pay
you
for
a
anything.
middle class citizen?
I would say middle low, but I
Well,
think most people are middle class
well, it's
is
starting to get more
you
blurry,
know
but I remember thinking,
if they
in the
say like if you make
middle
like
class can get nowhere.
200,000 a year, if you're making like 150 to 2,000 a
Mhm.
year, then you're like in the top few percent at that point already.
Yeah, and yeah.
So I mean, we don't make 100,000 a year. That's for damn sure. I would
Well, the
love
reason
to make
I'm
60. You
asking,
know.
Oh, we lost Rhonda again. We're not laughing at
Skynet
you.
attacks.
It happens, Rhonda. And
Right,
I
makes
didn't
sense.
do it. I swear I didn't do it.
Oh, you know you did it, did I, Bill?
I did it. I did it.
That's awesome. So I have to figure out why some songs are getting banned in certain areas. I'm wondering if it's because of the area and the song, or if I'm wondering because of maybe certain versions I'm picking. Because not all of the ones I do are not everybody we know does them. Obviously, you know what I mean. I don't think anybody we know has done any Jack Black stuff. So when I look that stuff up, is that already like out of bounds for some?
Yeah.
You know, like Billy Joel, that is such a weird one.
Yeah, I know.
And that wasn't always that way, was it? It just kind of started.
I don't know.
Because as long as I've seen you doing karaoke, we've been doing some Billy Joel. I mean,
Yeah.
Piano Man's one of the favorites, obviously.
Yeah.
But
9 o'clock.
I don't know. That's a weird one.
Ain't that the 9 o'clock song?
It's 9 o'clock.
We just it doesn't it just gets you banned in Russia. It's all, it doesn't really do nothing. Everybody in America hear it and see it.
It's just weird.
I didn't know you were big in America.
It's silly. I don't. They should allow karaoke streams to go unequivocally.
Well, you think if there's a karaoke version made, with the exception, because some of them just put them on there for like private use, like just sing on your TV at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
yes.
I understand that. Like if you try to look up pro-choice, that's one karaoke jocks actually use, or sound choice.
Mm-hmm.
Sound choice. That's one they license for. So when you try to look up sound choice on YouTube, it's very few, if any, that you can actually
you're
watch.
Absolutely right. I did, and then the ones that I seen, and I'm not blowing smoke, Bill, but the ones that I was listening to before I introduced myself or anything, they just seem so closed off, like a group, thing. They didn't seem inviting, so that's why I love Bill's site.
But yeah, Jedi Bill, I've got at least 3 songs that nobody's made karaoke versions of yet. Oh. And I also have thought like you. Ugh, how hard is it? Maybe I should just make some versions that work for me. Because there's a song by a band called Rehab, which they have several other hits that are karaoke versions. The bartender song.
Bartender song.
Yeah. Well, the one I want is I
love that song.
I'm not gonna remember it now. All I'm gonna remember is Rehab, but that's the band.
Yeah.
But they have a certain song that is one of my favorites, and nobody makes karaoke version of it, and it's such a good song.
What song?
And they just don't. That's what I'm trying to remember. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, 24.
Because it's like I don't get to sing it, so I kind of, unless it comes up randomly, I don't hear it. And I'll tell you, those random selections, when you listen to an app, a music app, the random selections are garbage. They still play the same songs over and over.
Like, give me an example.
Let me see. What's the name of that song?
I used to hate just put those old records on the shelf. I figure. And here's some old time of rock and roll. Because I worked at the bars, and they played that song like every 5 minutes.
Gosh darn it.
You can't even dance to that song. Try it.
I think Tom Cruise would disagree with you there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but look at him now. Look at him now.
Oh darn, he's a billionaire.
No, God bless his heart.
Okay. Let's see. I hate trying to type stuff in that don't work.
Okay. Who are you talking to?
When I first saw Tom Cruise in the film The Outsiders.
Really, he was the man.
And it was the 50s with what's his name? Shoot. No, Tom Cruise. It was The Outsiders. It was starred Tom Cruise. Charlie Sheen. Oh, was Charlie Sheen in there? No. Rob Lowe. What's his... Darn it! It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
I was trying to think as fast as you were thinking.
Right. Yeah, that's part of getting old.
Rob Lowe and
let's see. I see Matt Dillon, C. Thomas Howell, Ralph Macchio,
Ralph Macchio, Patrick Swayze,
Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise.
See,
you're cheating. You're looking on
Google. He looked it up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez.
Oh, right. He's looking on Google.
Yeah, I just looked up cast real quick. It's got to be one of those guys, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All those guys.
Okay.
All those guys.
Hey, have you guys seen
my stupid song?
Have we seen what?
Murder in the First.
Murder in the First.
Is that the series?
Did you see that, Bill?
The movie.
My wife watched it.
It was with Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not the one.
Where he stole $5 out of the register because his parents died and he was taking care of his little sister, and because it was a post office mixed with the store, he got it was 17, 18, and he got a whole bunch of time. And then he meets his lawyer, Christian Slater, and this is a true story, and man, they beat the hell out of this poor guy. You know, when he started off as a kid, he ended up having to stab some fucking snitch in the neck with a spoon. And anyway, he ended up having to do life, but he was just an innocent little boy trying to take care of his sister, and he ended up dying in solitude confinement in a cave.
Yeah.
It's so sad. You have to watch it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Don't you think he deserved an Academy Award? He didn't even look like Kevin Bacon. I thought he did a really good job on it.
I know it's been some time.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies because of his acting. But anyway, I watched it. It bothered me for 3 days after, knowing that it was a really true story, and the guy, he did baseball. He made baseball.
Ralph Macchio said in an interview he still owns the Converse shoes he wore in the Outsiders movie. Wow.
Who, Ralph Macchio?
Yeah.
I mean,
Hereditary,
okay.
right?
See, this is a perfect example of movie stars. They ask now, they're like, did you keep anything from any of those movies? Some of them didn't even think to do anything like that at a time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's how far they've even came. They're like, oh man, I totally should have taken something from everything I've worked on.
But they were
You
distracted
know?
with their fame
But they just
already.
weren't, the thought process of let me be nostalgic like wasn't even a thing yet.
But maybe
It's
he really kept them because he really liked those shoes.
well, some people keep stuff, some people don't. I watch Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. He interviews a lot of people and he asks more personal questions. And that's
Mm.
kind of the responses he get. People are like, "Oh yeah, I always take something," and some people are like, "No, I didn't. I didn't start taking things until this point." And then they're like, "And
Yeah,
then I didn't." And some of them are like, "No, I don't care," because some people, some celebrity
it
can
ain't
watch
important. It
themselves,
ain't important. Yes,
and
I know.
some can't.
I like it.
So the same kind of thing. Like they want stuff from their career or they don't. It's just a personal thing, which I can
Do you listen
understand,
to
but
yourself after karaoke?
I do because I think that's the
I
only way that you can
to
improve
be
on what you're
better.
doing. Like
I know,
I don't hear myself in the headphones
okay.
like
I
a lot
do.
of other people do.
I do. I
So
have to hear myself in the
I
headphones.
always like I'll sing a song
Really?
at a volume and I will pay attention to my distance from the microphone. And then I'll
Oh,
listen back to it and go, "Oh, I was way too loud," or "I need to be louder."
oh,
Or
so you're
when I
kind of like a
sing loud,
student.
I need to back up more. So it just that's all I have to go on, so that's the tool I use.
Well, you know what
Now,
I've been noticing
now
about both of
this,
you.
this, this, I believe, Ralph Macchio also owns the
I've heard
guitar
this. Yeah.
in the
Yes,
movie
yeah,
from Crossroads. He said to
no.
this day, people still ask him for their autograph.
And he was really good, but he did not play all the scenes where it looks like he's playing.
He was
It's
playing
not
against
necessarily
what,
always
Stevie
him.
Ray Vaughan or
Stevie Ray Vaughan. No, Stevie
Jr.?
Vai. Stevie Vai.
Stevie Vai.
Stevie Vai.
Which was basically like Slash before Slash. He was the
Yeah.
big heavy or a slasher guitar guy.
Yeah,
So
master guitarist.
it would have been like, I'll bet Ted Nugent probably was mad that he was in that movie and not him. Because Ted Nugent at the time was a pretty mean ass guitar player too.
Yeah.
Man, you guys should watch the it's like a blues special with BB King. It has Slash and a bunch of guest stars. But the one that I really love and I haven't heard much of Simply Red. Holding back the years. That one. But he was on there with BB King and stuff and oh
I
my
like
god, yeah.
I like watching. There's if you can find old videos of I think is it the CBGB? I think it was an old blues club, and then there's like the House of Blues. I'm not sure if
No,
the
the House of Blues
CBGB
is everywhere.
the
Yeah.
CBGB I know is closed, but this House of Blues I don't know if it's closed or still open. But when you look
I
up
think it's Chicago.
footage for either one of those, they have some of the best live shows, and it's very random. Like CBGB, I think was the place where like Bruce Willis would go and play, and like
Oh
people
yeah,
like
really.
that, where they
Oh
were
yeah.
where they were
Well, it
movie
says
stars, but they
band
had
name.
bands, and they would go play there a lot. So, but other bands would go, and it'd be like they could totally jam because nobody would record there. It was just kind of a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
Bruce
people
Willis,
used
what the
it
hell
to
was he had a
warm
band?
up.
What was his name? The name of his band? He had
I
a band
forget
before he
that,
was
but there was several people that were kind of. I think Kevin Bacon was like that, and
yeah,
a few other
Bacon
people.
Brothers.
So
But anyway, are you yawning, Bill? I'm sorry.
What? No, I was not, Yana.
I heard you. It made me
oh,
yawn too.
You heard me yawn.
It's good Jason.
Hear
that
me
song
yawn.
that song by Rehab is called "Welcome Home."
Can you sing a few bars?
You should listen to it. I was going to ask you, Bill. Can you think of 3 bands that maybe I don't know that you could suggest to me, and maybe I could think of 3 bands that maybe you might like that you might.
I get to pick one.
That and
Do you know the band Skindred?
Skindred.
It's the lead singer is Jamaican, but they're a heavy metal band. One of their biggest hits is they have a couple bigger hits, but they did a heavy metal cover of Electric Avenue.
Oh,
So I was like, I think Jedi Bill might really like those guys, but I like Skindred. Their early stuff's really good. They're from a while back.
Second question.
And then let's see. Another band that I think he might not know. Because I'm sure you know of like Ghost.
Ghost, yeah, I know Ghost.
And their name escapes me right now, but I can't remember. There's like a band that kind of sounds like Led Zeppelin.
Yes,
That's new? Okay.
yes, that is.
I see.
Shoot, I have them, and I have them in one of my playlists.
I had it earlier today too. And then there's this one band, something Maine. I just got turned on to them a couple weeks ago, and they're really cool.
Oh, that all band female band.
Yeah, I think that might be them.
That was you said Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah, like Led Zeppelin pop.
Yeah, I they did 17 and Get It On.
Yeah, I can't
T-Rex,
remember
not
the name of that band
T-Rex.
right now either, for some reason.
I've done it.
It ain't T-Rex, is it? Get it on.
Oh, no.
Go. Okay.
No, not that. Get It On.
Oh, that's the one. Get it on. I know. It's a whole different story.
Not that one. Son of a bitch. Where is one of my playlists? Let's see if it's in this one.
Are you going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah, karaoke tomorrow.
I think you got a few newcomers. I was thinking about cucumbers, but I said I think you got some newcomers. That one girl, she could really sing good. Cachet. CJ.
When I can't think of the name.
It was real simple, like something like KC.
What? No, it's not Casey.
I bet you any money it was KC. He kept saying, KC. I'm not making fun of you, but it was the time. You know what I'm talking about? That one girl that joined us singing. She had like a real shaky, good vibrato voice. I probably was impressed. Anyways, you told her you were going to be there on Wednesday.
I'm trying to remember. All I can think is Tiger Stripes. There's another girl. I can't remember who it is at the moment.
Just a couple days ago. You know what I was doing? I don't know if you should have together. This is how much I like your show, Bill. I need to go to the hospital. I'm addicted because, you know what I was doing? I was writing down songs because it's not like I have nothing better to do. My house is over. But anyway, then I was thinking, you know what? I want to challenge Ina. So I was writing like songs like I thought that she would know.
Kingdom Come. That's the name of their. That's the name. Padawannabe. Kingdom Come.
I know that band.
Yeah, They sound a lot like they was what they did. Their hit song was 17, and what what love can be. I bought this album in it was 1987 or 86, and I would listen to this album over and over and over again.
What's the name of it again?
No, they're way newer. They're way newer than
Kingdom Come.
I do know Kingdom Come, but this band I'm trying to think of is I do know I remember when somebody turned me on to them. Let me see if I can find.
I would listen. I would listen to them.
Is it Greta Van Fleet?
Fleetwood Mac.
Greta Van Fleet, I think, is the name of the band that sounds like Led Zeppelin.
Well,
they sound like
I always
pop
thought
version.
that the pop version of Led Zeppelin was Kingdom Come, but
yeah. I would agree with that. There was another band called Enough's Enough kind of at the time, and I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like some of those bands right then, like that particular sound. It was that guy's voice though. But yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. That was who I was.
What the heck's that one?
Greta Van Fleet. But they actually, like, I heard their first Greta Van Fleet's first few hits, and at first I was like, is this some unreleased Led Zeppelin song? Because the first few of them really did sound like Led Zeppelin, but as they went along, they have a little bit different sound, and they won't say they're emulating them. So it's like, but yeah, that was the other one. But I do know Kingdom Come. God, that was a callback. Jeez, I remember that. No, I had somebody my mom was dating at the time, and he would come home every once in a while, and he would bring some new music that I didn't know about, and that was one of the bands. A Kingdom Come tape. Kingdom Come, Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
The first one. I still don't understand why bands ever thought that was a good idea to name your first album the name of your band. That's so dumb.
I don't know.
So dumb. Unless they don't have really a single on there, they're like, we're going to name it this.
This is their hit, "What Love Can Do," and I've sung it a few times in karaoke.
Yeah, I don't know this band's music enough to play a song. I'll have to try it later. So, if you don't know Greta Van Fleet, then that's another band you could try and listen to. Something me. I wish I could remember the name of that other one.
Anyway, you get the idea.
Yep. You seem like you'd be. That seems very much like Led Zeppelin's slow stuff.
Yeah.
And Greta Van Fleet sounds like their faster stuff.
Well,
the hits I've heard.
Rhonda.
Just keeps coming back. Coming back.
Are you okay?
You guys are kicking me out, aren't you?
No.
And I keep showing back up.
Stop blaming me, Rhonda. Stop blaming.
I don't know. No, I just keep getting kicked out, and then
I didn't do it.
My pride says that I kicked myself out, but then my doubt in my head says they keep kicking you out.
No,
so they keep coming back.
Connection just goes bad. It's only got to do a hiccup for a second, even a millisecond.
I'm like, Bill might have to take a restraining order. I'm on there Wednesday, and I look at it on Friday.
See, we lost Jedi Bill now.
See, he hates me. No, he don't hate me. Hey, hello.
See, I hit a button.
I hear it.
Trying to do something.
Hello.
And I hit the button.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Bill.
I'm back.
Oh my God.
I hit up button,
I'm always the
and I
last
did it to
5 words.
myself.
Oh,
I went poof.
now I can breathe good. I thought, shit, I'm always the last one.
Why you shouldn't play with pixie dust early in the morning?
What? What's that?
So I just watched RRR. Have you
Read it
seen
out.
or are you familiar with this movie, Jedi Bill?
RRR.
The letter R 3 times.
Oh yeah,
Rhonda.
yeah. I think I have. I think I have it some
I've
some
well,
form of DVD or something.
it's on the Red N channel. I was suggested this movie by other people because we were going through a bit of a film drought. And there she goes again. If she don't want to be here, she's
Yeah, Rhonda. I didn't do it,
Okay.
Rhonda. I did it.
gotta now when she comes back, I got something to interject real quick too. But anyway, let's see when she comes back. And that is why old people and technology just don't mix. No, no, I'm teasing. I was like, I got something to say when she comes back.
Play it. Tell me something I don't know. I hate technology.
That's funny. So RRR is I guess it would be Hindi film, Indian film. And it's basically like an action film, and it's okay. But
And then that's not that's a different RRR movie because the one I was thinking about was a B horror movie from like the 80s or 70s.
No, this is a fairly new movie. But it's a Hindi action movie or Indian action movie.
What's the R stand for?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Rated
It's probably something from their language,
retarded.
like how when they would spell Russia in Russian or whatever language they used back then, it would just be CCCP. And the CCC together meant something different. So maybe RRR together makes a word that we don't know. I'm not familiar.
I don't
But
know.
the only thing that
banana,
weirded me out
banana.
was, and I should have known this because of Bollywood, but yes, they have musical numbers and dance numbers in the middle of this action movie. They work them in. They work them in. They make
and
sense.
It's called RRR.
It's just
I wanted to
RRR,
say woof. No.
and it's on the Red N network.
Is it science fiction?
No, it's a action movie. It's based in reality, but some of the things they do, they're like special warriors. It seems like they can do superhuman things, but they're just by like the guy. He gets tackled by literally like 20 people, and he's still dragging them along. And it's like, okay, I get it, you know. So it's a little far fetched, but it's all right, you know. It was decent.
What do you think about Scarface when he kept getting shot and he wouldn't die?
I bought Scarface, and it has an F-bomb counter.
Well, is that like a cocaine bear? I never seen it.
I heard a recent review of that. I kind of thought it might be funny and fun to watch, and I heard somebody's review of it recently, and I'm kind of bummed out about it now.
Why?
Because it doesn't even seem like it hit the mark. Like they were trying to be kind of a 70s, 80s B movie. Like that's the effect they were going for. But they just described it and they were reviewing it, and it just sounds like it missed it.
Yeah, because
like
they got big.
It's not as funny as it should be, and it just doesn't. There's parts that just really don't make sense.
You guys got to watch the Outback if you like think one day you're thinking, I want to watch something. Watch the Outback.
I hear Outback, I think Crocodile Dundee.
No. This is
that's not a noise. This is noise.
or Quigley Down Under.
Yeah.
Or
well, you're thinking Australian. No, I'm
well,
talking about like
that's what I
up
think
in the.
of. I'm just
No,
saying.
not. I'm talking about like up in the Tennessee mountains and that damn park we had, National State Park.
Appalachia.
No, the other one that's closer to me. I live in Michigan.
Well, you live over there. I don't.
If you want to call it live. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's that National Tree Forest. It was there, and it's a true story. And this poor guy was gonna propose to his woman, and threw her phone back in the car because he didn't want to be interrupted. And then he thought he knew his way because he did when he was a scout, but he didn't. They got lost. And oh my God, it was just him and her and a fucking bear. The bear was on the hunt, and the bear ate the dude right in front of the woman. And nothing you could see for
My
miles and miles
God.
of trees. It scared the fuck out of me. I'm like, oh my God. Never seen them, huh?
Hmm?
Said watch it if you're brave. It's scary. I'm telling you, it's really scary because it's true. And you just want to like touch a bear because they're so cute.
Nope. Nope.
I would never go. I don't ever want to be them.
Bears are too big. Even the little ones, they're stronger than you.
Then they look, because they look. I mean, and my nephew lives up north, and he keeps posting all these freaking stupid bears in his yard, and he thinks it's so cool
Well,
and
you know
cute.
what I
They're
have to say to that?
and I'm like, oh my God, don't.
All I have to say to that is
Goodbye.
koala bears are super cute, and they carry chlamydia. So.
No, I'm talking about up north. How do you know? Wait a minute.
It's
Back
a
up the
fact.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
fact.
How do you know? Wait a minute, I missed something here.
Oh,
Koala bears have chlamydia. What?
yep. Look
Is
it
that
up.
what you said?
Yep.
How do you know?
It's a strain different from humans,
But
but
how do you
most
know?
of them have it because it's a fact. I
I
listen to
heard.
people and I look stuff up.
They are pretty cute, though. You gotta admit.
And they're vicious.
I don't like bears, period.
And they only eat one thing for some stupid reason.
Humans?
Koala bears. Their bodies,
Are you
eucalyptus
serious?
is actually poisonous, more or less, to koala bears, but their stomachs have evolved over time that they can break the shit down.
And so they eat other koala bears?
Nope, they eat eucalyptus.
Oh, okay.
And that's like one of the only, like how is it panda bears eat bamboo, right? And that's all they eat.
Yeah.
I think koala bears only eat eucalyptus, if I'm not mistaken.
The house that I moved from when I moved here, that I hate where I moved, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, it had bamboo growing all over my yard. It was like it should have stayed and made some furniture in winter.
Wait, Rhonda, wait. Jedi Bill, I think he's snoring. Jedi Bill.
Yes.
That's what that was.
I thought
Yes.
I heard a little.
You heard a bot? No.
I thought I heard a little bit.
No.
That's the whole goal. It's the Insomniac channel. We got to put each other to sleep. He was the last one standing or yawning or whatever.
No, you were saying we were talking earlier about stuff in the water
I had bamboo
that I didn't want to be around. If I get on land by something bigger than me, I don't want to be around it either. Like a bear, or like a jaguar, or a mountain lion, or like a Komodo dragon. I don't want anything to do with the Komodo dragon. And monkeys, I don't get them away
Or
from
if
me.
you had to take on one thing in the wild, what would it be?
A shrew.
A caveman. A shrew? What the fuck's a shrew? See, look, that was weird because
It's like a mole.
Yeah, but they call an old lady a shrew. And then they call a fucking
They call an old lady a prude too.
and a shrew. But they call like an old man and everything a caveman. So I said caveman, you said shrew.
Oh.
We must be related.
So I rewired it.
Tim.
To,
Oh.
hello.
64 horsepower lawnmower.
No.
Tim the Tool Man, give me a break.
I still think that's probably one of the best sitcoms that's been. I love that show.
I
That was
loved
so
it
funny.
too. Roseanne was
Did you watch the other one that he did? Where he had 3 daughters?
I didn't watch a lot of it only because I didn't have access to television at the time. But I watched a few of it, and I heard it was really popular. I liked what I saw, and my mom watched it. Like, she loved it. She watched it all the time.
It wasn't as good as Tool Time.
That was the last
weird.
man
It's
standing.
Weird. It's weird, yeah. Last man standing, yeah. It's weird to hear people talk about normal TV because I've been a cord cutter for. Oh my gosh, I cut the cord a long time ago. Like, seems like it's been like 7 years now. I think.
What?
Yeah, I don't. They don't have cable. I just have internet. Yeah, I just have internet, and I stream all my stuff.
You're my hero. I want to quit watching TV.
Yeah, we got rid of cable. We got rid of cable about 3 years ago.
But what do you do if you ain't watching TV?
You watch streaming.
Well, I watch streaming stuff. I watch Prime Video. I watch HBO Max.
My wife has been watching Grey's Anatomy.
I watch YouTube a lot.
She was watching CSI and Law and Order before that. There's plenty of freaking episodes.
Is she Triggerfish too?
No, that's Bello.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm confused. So she likes Grey's Anatomy. Will you remember this if I tell you to ask her something?
I don't know anything about that show, really.
Well, ask her if she knows that song, Running on Sunshine. She's a true Grey's Anatomy fan. She'll know it.
She probably won't know that song. She won't know the song. She doesn't remember stuff like that. She could love a song for decades. She won't ever even know the name of it or who it's by. It amazes me.
Well, how come?
I don't know. She doesn't.
I'm sorry. I don't want to get personal.
I don't know what it is because I'm one of those people like I hear it and I want to find something. I got to know who it's by or the name of it so I can look it up later so I can get it. But she just
doesn't want to remember.
She doesn't have that priority at all.
Oh yeah,
She barely would remember actors. She'll remember some, but she won't remember like. She loves John Wick's movie. She loves John Wick's movie, but she could not name another movie Keanu Reeves is in. And she's seen probably 10 of them. But she's just that way. She just does not. She doesn't even care to retain that stuff. So that's kind of why I'm glad that it's like I can introduce her to Star Trek. The new stuff, like as a complete outsider who knows she loves Star Trek. But I want to because there's been very mixed reviews on it. So I'm curious, as somebody who's aware of it, but doesn't really go deep into the lore. But if she sees things that don't make sense, she'll be like, I don't understand that. So I'm curious to see what she watches. And what she says.
My thoughts were like, "What? She don't know about this show and that show." But then immediately I was like,
"Because we watched
because this is fake. That we're watching other people live their life. When you watch TV, you're watching other people live their lives, and you ain't living your life." So I had to regroup and say, "Well, you know what? That ain't weird."
We're watching entertainment. We're not watching anybody's life. Nobody lives. Nobody's the person we see on TV. Absolutely nobody.
Yeah, but when you sit, I don't know, you probably don't watch as much TV as I do.
You'd be surprised.
But at the same time, like if you look at a bird's eye view and you look down at yourself, what you do all day long. I'm sitting there staring at this
Nothing.
stupid box, but
I
I like
actually don't get to
TV.
watch. I have to resort to my telephone or my computer because I'm never in a spot long enough to
See, now that's
watch
what
anything.
I wish I could say that. Is
There's
Bill
only a
still with
few.
us?
Like I actually,
Ooh,
I set aside time when karaoke, and when I'm on karaoke, I
yeah.
set that time aside. When I'm not there, I'm probably working, and it's just because of the
What kind
nature
of
of
work do you do?
I do.
It's Bill
I
with
basically
us?
do personal shopping, like grocery
No fucking
shopping.
way. For
Yeah,
personal other people.
for other people.
You know,
I'm other people's
that's my
personal
dream
shopper.
job.
So, as you can imagine, the whole day doesn't have orders. Or there may be orders that don't make sense to take because monetarily, with gas being $4.20, it doesn't make sense.
Now,
So,
wait a minute, wait, bake up the pork. But what about, you have to give a service to old people and stuff. You can't just say, oh, you ain't got enough money, so fuck you.
they don't
Or
have
can
to.
you? Or
That's
can
that's
you?
the problem. None of these places have to do it. They are doing it, and it makes it convenient. If less places did it, I would make more money because just about every store
Um,
has delivery now. Like
Yep.
Lowe's has it,
since,
Home
since the
Depot's got it,
COVID,
Walmart's got it,
Yep.
everything's got it. So what I do
they use
isn't in
COVID to
as
do this
much
shit.
demand because I go to these stores that have personal delivery. So I'm
It's
only
fucking
catering
crazy.
to a certain amount of people, you know. But I do a lot of veterans, I do a lot of handicapped people, but then I have a customer that orders 2 bottles of wine every day. So, I mean,
Is he married? No.
Uh,
They got an uncle or a brother? No, just kidding.
if I could
Anyway,
afford 2 bottles of wine a day, I'd probably knock back the cheap stuff. Simple.
but it's so weird though because we used to drive to the store, get our groceries, bring them home, put them in the freezer, cook them, and all that stuff. And now, since the COVID, I think, because people started working out of their homes. Now you just have shit delivered to your door, and I really like it. At the same time, I'm thinking, man, this is really dumbing us all down.
No,
Fucking, we
not
don't have to
everybody
know
wants to go
nothing.
out, and not everybody can go out.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
but you
still a
should at
lot of,
least know
and
your
to
fucking
be
somebody's
honest,
phone number.
I think COVID kind of showed a lot of people. There was a lot of people that shouldn't have been going out before. They just
Oh,
were,
huh. I
you
can't believe you
know.
said that.
I mean,
Why? Going out
because
is free.
it doesn't matter
Going
if
out
you.
is what your decision.
There's
You
a
want
lot
to
of
go
people
out
that are
there?
driving on the roads that shouldn't be out there. That's for
Well,
damn
that's a
sure.
different
So
story.
if no, it's the same thing. There's a certain percentage of whatever population you look at that should not be doing what they're doing.
Driving or going
Flat
out,
out.
but that's two different
Whatever.
things.
Whatever you want. I
Oh,
know people that
okay,
would
so
go
what's
out
your
with
age then?
does somebody who has to have a gas mask on an oxygen mask on their face all the time, should they be at a bar? No, but I see it all the time.
Well, who are you to say no? They want the
I'm
guys
not
drinking a
saying no.
martini.
My point is there's
Sorry.
every range of people in every aspect of life. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but some people think they have the right to like say, "Oh, this person ain't worth as much as
They
this
do have the
person."
right to say that, and I have the right to tell them to screw off.
Thank
I
you.
have I have as much right as they do. They don't have the right to expect me to do anything about what they want. And that's where the
Exactly.
problem lies
Okay,
today. Because
wait.
everybody's like, you need to listen to me and do things my way. And it's like, no, your way hasn't affected me my whole life. It's not going to affect me. The only reason it affects me is because you go out of your way and scream in my face. Otherwise, I would never even interact with you. I'm not going out of my way to
Yeah.
interact with problems. Problems interact with me, but I still have to work my way out of them. Just like that guy I talked about earlier who got attacked. He was just an Amazon driver. But everybody decided, hey, this guy works for Amazon. Let's steal from him. You know,
I know, it's so horrible. It makes me sick to my stomach.
You just kind of got to do it. And that's all I'm saying is
people are gonna
if
get it paid.
the people that don't want to go out because of COVID makes my job more plentiful. If they're scared and they don't want to go out, that benefits. If they're sick, or if they're just simply so rich and they don't have the time, I'll take their money too.
Yeah, I'm thinking, it's like.
I mean, that's just how I'm looking at it. So. I like helping certain people, but I'll tell you, you kind of draw, even though you're helping out a veteran, when you get $10 for 2 hours of work, kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when you're trying to do a good thing, it doesn't always help you out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Fucked over,
but even if I'm just trying to help an old couple, like if I see an order and it says no tip, I might think, oh, they're waiting to see how fast the delivery gets done and give a tip after. But then I take that delivery and I only get $7. And it's like, wow, I'm never gonna take your delivery again.
But wait. Back up to Portland. No, I can't. You have probably have bills to pay and you like to eat and all that crap. But then at the same time when you were saying that,
hey, if somebody else can do it and they're supplementing their income, they can take that job. I need to make money. And I take lesser jobs. I think she froze like I did.
Oh no.
That's what happened to me.
I think we're coming to the end anyway.
But this was a good talk.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jedi Bill. I wanted to talk more fun stuff.
It's all right.
I was trying to go back to your stuff, the TikToks and stuff. I actually watch a podcast one of the hosts, she's a female comedian, and she really tries to cultivate TikTok so she doesn't get the normal stuff. Like she doesn't get any dancing things and stuff like that. She gets really weird, like Craigslist-y kind of TikTok stuff. It's funny to watch. It's like, wow, these people put this stuff on TikTok, huh? It's not a singles app, fellas.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
But yeah, I just saw you coming on late. I was like, oh, perfect. I'm up late. This would be awesome. That was just good timing.
Cool beans, man.
Apologies for me. I know you're not going to say it's not necessary, but I know I talk a lot. And thanks for dealing with it.
No, that's fine.
You're like, yeah, I don't have to talk. You're just chilling. I know how
it's been great having you and Rhonda here, and I'm just now.
Nope, I'm on the same time as you are.
The insomnia is starting to leave me. I'm starting to get sleepy.
Yep, I hear you. I'm gonna have to get up and do work too, so we can let it go.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat Wannabe, Rich the Beard Guzzler, Rhonda, if you're out there. Thank you so much, Ervik Sander, Kapla, Canadian Spider-Man, Rancor Steve. This is where we'll leave you. Saying good night for now.
Good night, everyone.
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Good night, everybody.
Night.
See you later.
Boop.
Karaoke.